by the blood of Jesus. Okay? And the church in and of itself, the polity of the church, the government of the church, those things. Well, if you confess your, I know what you're going to say.
Okay, then so are you confessing your sins?
Are you confessing your sins?
Yes, I do, sister.
You say you keep the law 100% of the time?
Yes, I do, sister.
What about that law that says thou should not lie? You're lying about the blood of
So I'm
Jesus.
lying to you. So tell me what
And the church, you said that you are without sin, church, you keep God's laws.
Sister, we walk as perfect as we can.
Well, so you're not telling the truth.
I am telling you
the word. The word of God says that he who says that he's without sin.
Cast the first out.
No, it says that person. That's in 1 John as well. That person is walking in. And they're lying.
I'm
you're
not
telling
walking
me,
in darkness, sister.
No, you told me. You said to me. You said to me that you
I can tell that it's
God's holy commandment. Thou should not lie.
5 and 48. Let me show you what the scripture says. See, what you're doing. But see, God, you can tell me, you don't know the scripture. So you can tell me what sin I mean.
I know it.
Oh, we just came from a demon rally. Yeah, there's drag queens and demons were there. Oh, show me the video.
What did it say? So I'm doing the purpose. You are not. We don't. Even as your Father, which is in heaven. See, but you're trying to judge a spiritual man.
Well, you're trying to judge a spiritual woman.
Look at all. We got little demons in the crowd.
You lying.
Yeah, we're on the other side. We're on the Christian side here.
That's your own opinion. Have you spent time with me?
They're bringing all this Antifa.
That was no plug.
I shouldn't be around shit like that. That's how you ain't bystanders. They're nuts.
And hereby we have a
Scary
relationship.
people hurt people, man.
Let me ask you this. When's the last time you kept a Passover?
When's the last time you told a lie?
These people are demonically. I've been in this mission.
Those people are the face.
So you're harboring on trying to judge me.
That is that. When I saw the first thing I did, I was like,
lack insight because this is what you're doing to. You're doing that to me.
You thinking that you can be any kind of judge over
the last time I heard was Atlanta march, right? Something 10,000.
I'm correcting all things.
It was Atlanta, right?
It's judged under no man.
I can't be judged of a sinner.
I think that was in New York.
New York?
I'm not quite sure what you want me to get.
When it came to the name of the Most High, I did not get that from Henry Mackow. That was revealed years ago with the Most High dealing with our church in 2002. Okay, he actually probably got it from learning from my videos. The next thing is.
Wait, can you pause that real quick? Can you just pause that?
Well,
all right, hold on. All right, and he used that argument that he learned the name of the Most High, watching our videos, blah blah blah. First of all, he uses that dialect that was concocted by Ariel at One West, Lashuan Kadash. That's a modern dialect. It's not ancient Hebrew. I have a video on my channel that debunks it. It's called Lashuan Kadash Debunk. It takes all the videos from Truth After Knowledge's channel, and it shows very concisely and very meticulously how Lashuan Kadash is not ancient Hebrew at all. There is no, I mean, anyways, man, don't let me get into a rant about that, but, you know, it is what it is. When he uses that dialect, that is not ancient Paleo-Hebrew. Point blank, period. You know, I just wanted to point that out. That's just a little pet peeve that I have, you know, every time I see these guys making appeals to that dialect. Because it's a dialect that they were forced to accept at One West, and they're still parroting it. And a lot of these guys claim they've done research, but they haven't done deep research to see if that dialect is even what they claim it is, which it isn't. It isn't. There's a ton of evidence that proves that that dialect was concocted by Arya. Point blank. That's what it is.
It's not a real language at all from antiquity.
It's a language that Arya himself, you know, because of his ignorance of how Semitic languages work, he invented it. He claimed that there was only A and I, that those are the only vowel sounds. So when he talks about, you know, so right off the bat, when Rakah makes that statement, Man, I just can't help but shake my head. You know, I can't help but face palm.
Right.
Hey, brothers, how's it going? This is I'm just jumping in here.
Yep, we're live on there right now, brother. How's it going? You know, we're just watching this debate between James White and the elder of GOCC, Rakah. You know, they had a second discussion, and you're about to see how this went down. Cause
Okay.
Yeah, the title is the title. Cause I seen a comment on one of my videos. I said, "Yo, that name looks familiar." But they were commenting that familiar name was commenting like upset on the video. So I'm like, so I seen it said Smash Rockwell. I said, ain't that old boy from the I'm a Raw Squad? I said, what can he be mad at that I'm sharing? Because all I do is debate Hebrew Israelites. I'm like, is he a Hebrew Israelite now? You know? So I look at the comment, and he's talking about a video I did before. But even videos before, like none of my videos are attacking anybody. Let me just say this: most of my videos are addressing pseudos. So if you're not a pseudo, my video is probably most likely not discussing or addressing you. Okay? Or absolute retard. My video probably not addressing you. So I'm speculating, because I don't know Smash Rockwell to watch my content. So I'm speculating there is a clown out there who watched the video, knew what I was talking about, and possibly sent Smash Rock, was in his comment section saying I said something about him. You know how they do. They give you a timestamp. Like kind of like what I guess Offset was saying about Prince J or J Prince. He was saying, bro, you are hearing what people said I said, but you never heard me say it. You only can go but so far with that. So now, unless Matt Walker say no, he came by my channel happenstance, or he sometimes frequented and he did catch it, which won't make any sense. Because why would he be commenting now? And you know, my subjects are never my subjects. So sometimes my video just says Meeting Zoom. You know, the name of the channel, Meeting Zoom. So you'll never know what we talked about unless you watch the videos. So that's why I concluded like somebody had to watch that and they say, you know what? I'm gonna I'm a troll and Smash Rockwell video. I'm gonna feed on misinformation. And I'm gonna say, this channel, the host mentioned your name, and they said this about you. And they probably gave him the timestamp. So he went and seen me saying this. Okay, let me just play it. Listen.
And so I was just up chilling, right, watching this video.
Oh, so so he says nobody sent him a link. He's watching the video. Then it's definitely he should have watched it all, because nothing was about him, Asar, or Wujabi. Listen.
I guess this how the community getting down. I don't know.
So, brother, if you're up late watching the video, you should wake up and get some coffee and really watch the video, especially if you think somebody's saying something that they're not saying. You should make sure you're fully attentive. Okay? Because we just don't eeny, meeny, miny, mo somebody. You did. You have to be talking about something we talk about. And you'll see when he plays it, I'm going to say the same thing he's saying. I'm going to say, I just caught the tail end of his video late. You did. But my conclusion was different from his conclusion. Listen.
So I know how marketing and stuff works. Your name get the ringing before you actually start getting the results and the residuals. So it's cool because y'all know I am trying to build a page, and you know it is what it is.
All right, but Smash, the thing is the video was not titled. Look, it says Brother Polite Scam Testimonial, Scam Works. So the video was not about you at all. I was making a point and I use your discussion with Asar and Mujawa as a reference to validate what I do. So I'm actually giving you guys props. Somehow you took a complimentary video, or you took a complimentary clip segment, and I don't blame you, because I understand people come at you all the time, like they come at me. So I do the same thing. When somebody give me a compliment in the chat, if I don't understand a compliment, I usually take it as a negative, remark or trolling remark first. And then when they tell me, yo, no, dude, I'm giving you props, I'm like, oh shit. So I think you went through that. I think people always coming at you. You came to my channel and you heard your name there in a complimentary way, and you kind of didn't know how it was, you didn't kind of get how it was a compliment, and you took it as an insult. Look, listen.
I want to teach and do everything, but you know how the world is. I ain't about to do like hip hop, like just not do what people doing and try to be, you know what I'm saying? Nah, I'm in the mix. But look, I'm watching a video called Brother Polite Scams and Testimonies. Just late night, whatever. How I pop up all in this video, and it's letting me know that some cats out here, no matter what their assessment, like everybody don't got the tools to really, get to the bottom of some of these arguments we're having. And just listening to,
So he's gonna play my video, and you're gonna hear my disclaimer right off the bat. I don't know how there's confusion here, but I do know how there's confusion here. Watch this.
some of the people's take on some of the discourses that transpired already let me know that people out here tripping. But I'm about to play a little of this so y'all can peep, and I'm about to just let it be a teacher moment. Hopefully.
He got a lot of
seeing it, unbiased talk, gloves off. Let's listen.
Funny. Let me put that in there. Yeah, that is hilarious, man. That's the link for this type of content. All right. So I caught this last night, which I responded to Smash Rockwell, Jonathan Owens. I had no idea what the conversation was about.
What happened? I said I have no idea what the conversation is about. So Smash Rockwell, I cannot choose a side if I have no idea what the conversation is about. Listen.
It just reminded me of like my Spanish.
I said it reminded me of my Spanish, and the baby cut me off. I was gonna say my Spanish videos where I try to give y'all the basics of what they say, a rudimentary lesson on Spanish.
So let's talk right here. Here is exactly, and shout out to the brother who runs this channel. He seems to be a very fair person. And he,
I am the brother who runs the channel. The brother talking is the brother who runs the channel. So I was like kind of confused. He's like kind of coming at me, but kind of giving me props. I'm kind of confused.
He's hold on. Can y'all even hear me? Shout out to dude who run this channel. I just gotta stop because he's gonna listen to some points made by Asar that he agrees with, but he doesn't know what we're talking about.
Right. So it wasn't that I agreed with a point. I agreed with a conclusion that Asar said. You can disagree with an argument. Not, again, I have no idea what y'all talking about. I just said that as a disclaimer. But I can disagree with Brother Polite, but agree to some of his talking points. Not everything he says is bad. Some things are very inspirational, motivational, and some things are just facts and novel. Like, you know what I mean? So some things are good. It's when he gives you financial advice, health advice, that's when I'm off the board, off the bandwagon. But if he's just talking freely, what's on his mind, genuinely, I think some of that stuff makes sense. I think he'll be a great motivational speaker. I think he's a horrible guy to solicit services from people. Yeah, so as far as offering paid services, I think Polite is terrible at that. Okay. So I don't need to believe he's correct about credit repair to agree with a talking point of his. Like, I like his mantra, too smart to be broke. I like that. I think smart people should not be broke. I think America agrees with that. America say the people who are the most uneducated are the brokest. America says the people who are the most educated are the less people in poverty. So I like that. That helped me shake off the dust in my own boots and get started being successful. Because if you believe you're smart, I'm like, yeah, why am I struggling if I'm so smart? I gotta be smart enough to figure out a way to not struggle. If the person I think is dumb and below me is able to make a comfortable living for themselves, surely I can. Then what if I can't? Then why am I bragging about being smarter than that person? So when Polite said too smart to be broke, I said, bingo, thank you. I needed that. That's the motivation I need to not be broke if I'm gonna act like I'm smart. Good. That's the backdrop. So if I agree with Asar, I don't need to know everything he's talking about. I don't need to know his thesis, his premise, nothing. If he says something that I agree with, I can agree with it.
He don't know the deceit that's in play right on the screen in front of him.
Right. Now, see, so what he's saying is, so he doesn't know. Again, this is friendly fire. This is not like this is friendly fire. So he'll know where I'm coming from. Because he said, I don't know the deceit. You're right. I caught it late. I just said, I have no idea what you guys are talking about. Zero. There's no way I can confirm what Wujai was saying, what Asar is saying, what you're saying, because I don't speak, I can't read glyphs, Benenetzer, and I don't have a good background on Egypt, Mesopotamia, all that stuff. There's no way I can tell you who's right, who's wrong. First of all, I think all three of you know y'all stuff. So I'm really out of the loop, because if I talk to Wujai one-on-one, he's going to convince me that he's the man. If I talk to Asar one-on-one, he's going to convince me he's the man. If I talk to Jonathan Owens, Smash Rockwell one-on-one, I'm sure he's going to convince me he's the man. I'm totally lost on y'all subject. I just caught it late because I never heard Wujai and Asar debate or go at it with each other. So it caught my attention. That's why I clicked it. And then as I'm trying to listen, I'm really listening for entertainment because I had no idea what's going on. But something profound was said out of Asar's mouth that reminds me of my current situation. Watch this.
That's been addressed. And his ultimate conclusion is a testament towards good character. From statements coming from a person who's ultimately deceiving him. So let's look. Let's check this out. All right, I ain't good at going back.
I caught this last night. Wujai responding to Smash Rockwell, Jonathan Owens. I had no idea what the conversation's about. It just reminded me of like my Spanish lessons, the big.
Kribis. That's what I was saying. I said in the Greek fashion, and notice what they do. They take a small temple complex.
But I'm trying to get to Asar said something interesting.
To name day temple complex.
So as you see, so he's playing my video. So that means I already caught some of this already, right? So I'm playing it back on a live another day. So I'm not doing it. I'm not playing their video live. Who does that? I already watched some of it. Like I said, I caught it late, the tail end of it, and I'm going. I probably most likely, you know what I do. I probably fell asleep most likely. But before I fell asleep, Asar said something I agree with that has nothing to do with their discussion. By the way, nothing. Okay, keep that in mind.
Was
going to be
Duh.
So you see, so the point of playing this video on my live was not to talk about their discussion. As I just said, I have no idea what they're talking about. The point of this live was just to show Asar said something exactly, or he felt the same way I feel when I'm debating Hebrew Israelites, or just stupid people, period. So that's why I'm going to this video. I'm going to play something Asar expressed. He gave an expression of how he feels when he talked to people that he believes he gives enough information about something, overwhelming information, compelling information, and they just purposely don't get it. I don't know if that's what Wujab and Smash Rockwell is doing. I don't know. But I'm saying I feel the same way when I talk to people on my panel, pseudos specifically, blackologists specifically. Okay.
Became by Vernal on.
I gotta stop.
We're that in the book.
Funny.
Y'all hear the way he made the claim.
That's when you just wish him well, wish him long.
There we go.
List for those who
and he did not see anything. And here I am, I'm scrolling, perusing.
Now, why would I go against Wujawu at all people? When I tell y'all he helped me out the entire Vax debate. Okay, we were like Batman and Robin throughout the entire pandemic, basically. I had borderline losses where he jumped in and I won. I had borderline ties where he jumped in and I won. I had one-sided wins, but he hopped in and it was a triple one-sided win. Why would I go against Wujawu of all people? I always say, when it comes to debate, there's some people I just won't even consider debating, and I name Wujawu as one of those people. I say he's somebody who's off limits in this debating arena. I said that many times. The brother Smash doesn't know that. Okay, he probably even know about the lives I had with Wujawu. Okay.
Right.
And then when you pointed it out, he tried to act like it wasn't there. It was something else. Like
so Asar frustration is my frustration on Negroes that be on the panel or in the chat.
Right. So now remember, when I say Negroes, I'm talking about my panel now. I'm not talking about Asar's frustration. I'm saying I share his frustration. So for Asar's frustration, I don't believe he thinks Wujawu is a Negro. I don't believe he thinks Jonathan Smash Rockwell is a Negro. And I don't even know who's at whose neck. I don't know if it's Wujawu and Smash against Asar, or it's Asar and Smash against Wujawu, or Smash and Asar against, I'm kind of like, or Asar and Wujawu against Smash. I don't know. Last I checked, they were all friends. Okay, so let me continue.
Okay, they act like they can't hear things when we do with Margaret Singer.
Now, when I say Margaret Singer, Jonathan
like
Smash,
no matter how.
Okay, Jonathan Smash, well, I don't know you to debate Margaret Singer. I was talking about myself. I was talking about when I debate Margaret Singer, and when I say that, I'm talking about two names only. If anybody frequented my platform for the last 2-3 years, you would know that there's only two people who actually debate me on that. That is DJ Focus, Colleen, and that is disingenuous black man who goes by who goes by what's his name? I'm saying disingenuous indigenous black man. Okay. Those are the only two people. When I mentioned Margaret Sanger, I don't know another person. Those are the only people I'm referring to. So Jonathan Jonathan Smash Rockwell. You need to know who I was referring to when I said Margaret Sanger, instead of putting yourself in that argument. Okay. I don't know you to talk about Margaret Sanger. I don't know what, and I would think you on my side, by the way. I would think you would be on my side if you did research on Margaret Sanger. I would think you'd be on my side on Margaret Sanger. I wouldn't think you'd be on, I think Asar, Wujawu, and yourself, Sean, I think all of you would be on my side if we look at the facts with Margaret Sanger. I wouldn't think you guys would be on indigenous black man side. I got too much respect for y'all to think y'all would take their side, which is the pseudo side, the conspiracy side. So the brother apparently might have debated Margaret Sanger before, and it just like so far just a coincidence.
Much information I bring out, I correct the brother.
So I mean, I guess his first error is equating me to the Negroes that be in his chat that ignore Margaret Sanger, right?
No, Jonathan, that's your error. I don't equate you as a Negro, and I definitely don't equate you to be on the opposite end of my Margaret Sanger debate.
You allowed to make that mistake, but you're doing it with the, you know, you're using an example of a person of a you know, this is just, I don't even want to further have to slander my brother with some truths, you know what I'm saying? But you're doing it with not the best example of what the example you're trying to make. But we're gonna go in there.
He'll still say the same thing every chance he get. It's like, so am I?
So here's the biggest deception happening. It's two different languages on the screen that the majority of the people involved, including the person, obviously including the person analyzing what we're discussing, don't know how to read. All right? That's the first part. Now, in the context of the original conversation, the deception was already pointed out, and we had a person who read French read this page and see that it said nothing about a translation, Kemet Aret, right? Now, if you read Medu Neter and you read this right here, this says Kemet Aret. But if you're not reading the French, you're not going. You can see it's clearly saying English right here, Ramses the Third. All right. The entire discussion we was having the whole time was about a 6th century attestation, y'all, where Kemet Aret does not exist. That's not hard to follow. But since people don't read French, no one read that this was off the temples of Ramses up here. And someone pulled this out as an attestation in an argument where all the source material that we were discussing was concerning 5th and 6th attestation, 5th and 6th dynasty attestations, because we was dealing with the Pepi and the Neith attestations. Then it started to go out and we looked over everything. And the reason why cats ultimately ran from the conversation was because once all the data was spread out, it was well displayed that there was no Kemet Aret. Even during these Ramses time period, it could be argued that this was just a feminization of the term once we looked at the whole grammatical structures of the sentences, particularly this one attestation. And so let's just check this out. And this is how cats get deceived and led into cults and all kind of shit, because the way we appraise good character based on information we don't know and bad data can have us puzzled.
Oh my gosh! But you already knew that shit.
And notice.
I caught this last night, which I was responding to Smash Rockwell, Jonathan Owens. I had no idea what the conversation's about. It just reminded me of like my Spanish lessons, big.
Pribis. That's what I was saying. I said in the Greek fashion, and notice what they do. They take a small temple complex.
But I'm trying to get to Asar said something interesting.
To name day temple complex. And where I was
going to be
is what became by Vernal on.
I gotta stop.
We're that in the book.
Funny.
Y'all hear the way he made the claim.
That's when you just wish him well, wish him long.
There we go.
Bliss for those who.
And he did not see anything. And here I am. I'm scrolling, perusing. Right.
And then when you pointed it out, he tried to act like it wasn't there. It was something else. Like
so Asar frustration is my frustration on Negroes that be on a panel or in the chat. Okay, they act like they can't hear things when we do with Margaret Singer. Like no matter how much information I bring out, I correct the brother, he'll still say the same thing every chance he gets. It's like, so am I wrong or am I right? Because I did just say a bunch of stuff. Is that historically accurate or I just made this shit up? Like which one, you know what I mean?
So in the case of your source material, it's historically inaccurate, anachronistic. Everything you see on the screen is an anachronism. Okay, they're trying to take this attestation from the 18th dynasty and squeeze it into a discussion. But see, this is why this wasn't a good example of the point you're trying to make on good character, my brother. Unless you think, doing what they're doing, what we deemed as magic. Like, let's just say we living in 2023 right now, and somebody gonna say something in 2220, and then somebody in 2400 take that attestation and put it back on us today. That's what's happening here.
Just talking like I never said that before.
We're looking at the glyphs. For those who can read the glyphs, are looking at the glyphs on the screen.
There you go. More of that foolumship. So if this brother was truly interested in the dialogue going on here, you could go to the response video to this video and see we had good brother Shaka Andu Kemet read this French that lets us know that it's deception. Clear deception leading you to this as a source that says Kemet Eret right here. They're never going to tell you, even though this attestation is from a different time period that has nothing to do, and it's from a all feminine sentence. So in all feminine sentences, you feminize the subjects and the objects, and everything is feminized. So if you had a Kim in a feminine sentence, it would be stated as Kemet Eret. So then if you take that out of that sentence and put it in parentheses and say, look, this was called Kemet Eret, you faking. Because that's just the feminine version of Kim as all the science says in this book. So this is what I mean. No matter wherever they have this Kemet Eret written in Medu Neter in this book, they always transliterate it Kim because they are scholars on a level that know that these attestations come from feminine sentences. So they would be wrong telling you something called Kim was Kemet Eret because they find it 2 times feminized. But this is what they doing though. And even worse.
And he's still denying it. That's when you just wish him well, wish him long life, and he just gotta die at 103. Because there's just no hope like that. That's why,
So I don't take that little fake little shit like that. You wonder why you smash out weak niggas and stomp out their villages and leave them sitting, can't even fix the fucking back window in their car. Because they say slick punk shit.
In the chat I said, he probably suffers from narcissistic personality disorder.
Oh yeah. So now I'm not, again, I don't know the discussion between Jonathan and so I don't know. So because he's saying words that's towards Jonathan Rockwell, I'm not laughing at those words being at Jonathan Rockwell. I look at those words being targeted at my ops on this channel. You dig? So it got nothing to do with Jonathan. Basically, Asar is speaking for me. He's reading my mind. I talk to Negroes that's goofy on this channel.
These are your classical narcissists or individuals who can't admit that they're wrong and get very emotional when you.
Now, have you ever noticed that people describe themselves, dog, when they doing this? I look so far into that. At one point, even in battle rap, I was like, well, if you don't know something about the other rapper, find some flaws about yourself that you don't like and put them on the rapper. That's really an artistic skill in the discourse, the art of battle. But you get that from people doing that in real life. They got something called projection. If you ever met a person in this community who ain't never been wrong, I don't know if that was me. Like, who ain't never, I'm talking about every claim, ain't never took one of them back. From Robbie in the volcano to Robbie and Allah. All of these claims are still right. To the riparian zone.
Yeah. Anyway, so this live was just letting the brother know that I wasn't involved in his I wasn't giving an opinion on his dialogue with Jawa and Asar. I was using Asar quote for something that I'm going through. I'm using Asar's expression of what I go through with a complete different panel or the complete different audience. That's why I said it has nothing to do with who he's actually talking to. That's why it's called an analogy. So I take Asar out of that circle and I put him in my circle and say, thank you for saying that for me, Asar, because that's how I feel about the people I engage with, not the people who Asar who he engages with. Okay, so this was just so the brother can know. I tagged him. I'm getting together a debate with a Hebrew Israelite, by the way, in the background.
But again, this why I don't talk like this. I just go straight at your throat. I'm not a tippy-toer or an eggsheller. You know what I'm saying? So I don't really, these are the type of guys. I don't describe other people. I talk straight about you.
Which one, you know what I mean? Because you're just talking like I never said that before.
We're looking at the glyphs. For those who can read the glyphs, are looking at the glyphs on the screen. And he's still denying it. That's when you you just wish.
And the star wasn't there, and that's clearly not even what ever happened. The shit is just ridiculous.
Wish him well, wish him long life, and he just got to die at 103. Because there's just there's no hope like that. That's why, in the chat I said, he probably suffers from narcissistic personality disorder.
And by the way, I'm not sure if I even knew who the hell Asar was talking about. Don't forget, this is, I didn't know. I mean, I'm not sure. I'm gonna say I don't know. I'm not sure. All right, because I knew that my message had nothing to do with their interaction. I feel like, they grown men, they can handle their own business. They don't need me. That knows nothing about it. I'm not known to involve myself in something I don't know it. I don't know the subject well. If I don't know it well, I'm not known to insert myself in that argument. You dig? Like the Jabari and Garfield, I'm not. I keep asking people, I ask Chef, I ask people like, what's the argument? Because that's why I don't really have an opinion, because I'm not that. I'm not too much informed on why they disagree. Just like I'm not informed at all on why Sar and Smash disagrees. Oh yeah. So now I'm not, again, I don't know the discussion between Jonathan and Sar. I don't know. So because he's saying words that's towards Jonathan Rockwell, I'm not laughing at those words being at Jonathan Rockwell. I look at those words being targeted at my ops on this channel. You dig? So it got nothing to do with Jonathan. So I did make that clear, right? That separation. Yeah. So Asar is speaking for me. He's reading my mind when I talk to Negroes that's goofy on this channel.
These are your classical.
All right, so Jonathan, I just clarify all the way that, as I said earlier, that I look at Asar speaking for me for what I have to deal with. Okay, I felt like he said it better than I ever can say it when I try to express my frustration on my ops. Asar, so that's one of those amen moments. Like when I heard him say that, I'm like, hey man, like I feel that for me.
Narcissists are individuals who can't admit that they're wrong and get very emotional when you try to correct them on a perspective or their behavior, because for them they can't be seen as looking bad in any way.
And that's what I was trying to tell No Man, but No Man loves to give people a way out. That'd be funny as hell. She gives people a way out. I'm letting her know that if I'm right about something, it's clear I'm right. I'm correct. I'm not wrong at all. It's clear. Some men choose to not ever acknowledge that and just act like the conversation never happened. They'll end the conversation and they'll just never acknowledge the correction. Like, nah, you know what? That was correct. I stand corrected. Or let me look at it a little further, because what I thought I had was accurate, but maybe I read it incorrectly. Let me get back to you. No, that can't happen. What happens with me, what I experience is what Asar is saying that he experienced. Okay?
So they will lash out in the fashion in which you saw him display and others. And these are these, so I'm no psychologist, so I can't legally.
I got a surprise camp, LCK, surprise camp. Today, I just needed him. I ate my, you know how I do. I ate my late morning, early afternoon grits and turkey sausage. So I had to eat that just now. And I did that.
Yeah, so he's about to call in actually. All right, let me finish playing it.
You know,
yeah, so he is going to call in. He's going to tell you. I'm going to ask him, and you know how I do, and he's going to tell you where he's from and what city, and all that type of stuff. Like, so lately I haven't even been reading my script. Right, I got my notes that I read. I just been off the top, like, because it's been so easy for me. I just don't even, read. I don't even read my stuff to make it competitive. I try to go off the top of my head. That's why sometimes I forget what verse or whatever. Because I'm telling you, I have my laptop in front of me. Everything's here. I just refuse to open up my notes. You dig? Because I want a little challenge. I want to be wrong and can't pronounce something or say the wrong verse so I can be corrected. So they might have a moment where they win. You dig? And I'm gonna get to the if I feel like he ain't gonna let me talk, then I won't. Like the last two guys, I got right to the get to. Okay. This guy might play around a little longer. Matter of fact, actually, because what camp he's at, I'm actually not. I'm gonna get to it only because if he flees, like if the other guys fled too early, don't care. They're a bunch of Facebook nobody. But this guy is representing a certain camp that has staying. So I'm gonna get to the get to. Oh, let me play it.
Diagnose someone, but when you've been around this industry for a while, you start to pick up certain traits in people's behavior, and you can see that this permeates into the scholarship. And y'all have heard me say this for years: to be a good scholar.
And I'm still confused who's against who. I think I know. Okay, so I think I know, or at least knew. I don't remember this. As I just stated, I stumbled across. I wasn't even aware that these guys were going at it. So I stumbled across it, and what stood out the most to me is what Asar I felt about people that he believes he gave enough information to, and they just don't want to accept it. That related to me what I do over here, right? So I don't really remember this night, really, me watching this video, because it was a one-time thing. Okay, and I'm not familiar with their subject. Okay, so I think I remember Ujawa and Asar going at it, but I do not know where Smash stands on this. I don't know if he's siding with whatever they're talking about. I don't know if he sides with Ujawa or Asar. So, but based upon his commentary, I'm thinking he's with Ujawa. Based upon the commentary he's giving, I think he's on Ujawa's side. I don't know.
The first thing that has to be strong within you is good character.
Right. So, and that's what I was just trying to say the other day. Like for these brothers to.
Now, I don't want to give a hint because I think somebody, like I said, Smash Rockwell said he came across my live stream by, accident, whatever. Maybe he did. I thought somebody might have. My first thought was somebody knew I wasn't talking about him, but knew I mentioned him, and they decided to mislead him and say, "Yo, click this video at this timestamp. Look, he's talking about you." That's what I first thought. But Smash said he was just watching it himself. I'm not sure. You got to ask him. But I do know that people be in my chat definitely running, telling people things. That's why I thought like that. So I don't want to give a hint to what camp it is, because I don't want somebody having a head start to tell that camp, don't talk to them. Okay. If they don't know a camp, there's 1,000 Israelites camps out there. Good luck. So I want y'all to hear him himself. Yeah, so that's why I won't get a hint, because I don't want the camp to be on notice, and then I won't have my discussion. Then I'm like, damn, see, I should have just held it in.
I point out that what you said, how incorrect they were, and again, we're just.
You see how this worked? The dude don't know that they was wrong about the whole argument.
Okay, so now is he a third party? Like, because he said they were wrong. So now I'm totally confused. Is Wujawu and Asar on the same team against Smash? I'm totally confused now. I don't know who is on whose side, and that's not why I shared the video clip. Shared the video clip only because my expression to people I debate was identical to Asar's expression to people he said he debate. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. I think Asar is debating or having a discussion with people more at his level than me. I think the people I'm debating are totally beneath my level, like super under me. So I think Asar has a better challenge than myself. So there's no way I'm comparing anything else.
Oh, man. I don't believe it. So this is why you can't, this is just why you can't, you know what I'm saying, do that.
And RCK, this is why I don't go live on Unbiased Sports for the debate, because I think they know that channel more than this one. So that's why I go to this channel that had most of the debates. If y'all caught on to that. And then I got as y'all know, I got other channels that's even more discreet than this one. Like I will, if I think they hip to this one, I'll go to my other discreet channels. That's all. I would just let y'all know. That's why I say you guys should leave some information, because I don't know who's the rat. Y'all watch the Departed with Leonardo DiCaprio, all those people, all those stars. I don't know who's the rat, so I gotta send a personal invitation to my. Believe me, I got about 20 channels that some of you heard. None. I got channels you never heard of. I keep changing the name of them, and they got no subscribers. So I know you never heard of them. No subscribers, and I keep changing the name. All right. So y'all need to, let me put this in the link. This is why I say you got to stay in contact one of many ways. One way is to join my Facebook group here. Okay. So one way to keep in contact is to join this Facebook group. That Facebook group is called Unbiased Research, and it's just a place where I can contact everybody. You can give information there, or you don't have to. It's not one of those groups where I require you guys to be active. You can be inactive. That's just somewhere when I update you what channel I'm going live on. Okay, that's one way. Another way, some people have me as their IG friend. A few people. The other way is you just put your email in the chat. Then I just email you, but you got to make sure you actually check your email. So Facebook group is one. Some people Facebook inbox me, but that probably won't be the best way because I'm debating all these Israelites. So I probably will never see your inbox because I'm looking for the Israelites names only. But I mean, I can see a group. You know, I see True Meats when he hits me up. I see other people, so I can see it. But True Meats he also can tell you that there's sometimes I don't respond to his inbox maybe a day or 2 days later because I'm just now seeing it. So yeah. Speaking of emails, I ain't checking my email in a while. Now the only thing about Facebook is that most of you guys use screen names here. So when you actually hit me on Facebook, send a Facebook friend, I have no idea who you are. To me, you could be an op trying to, you know, because then the reason why I'm doing the conspiracy thing is because if they can join my channel and post porn to get me to shut down, then these people got a vested interest in following me and keeping tabs on me. I'm a guy that has about 15 views on a good day, 15 live views on a good day. And somehow, some way, they got to stop me. I have zero influence on the community, my channel. But somehow, some way, I got to be stopped. Okay. So much so that they will do a porn bob on my channel while I'm live. So that's why I'm a conspiracy theorist now when it comes to when people send me a Facebook friend request. If I don't really know you, I'm like, oh, who the hell's that? So some people would say, yo, I'm so-and-so. Like Stu Pease had to tell me, yo, this Stu Pease, you know. Google Scholar had to say, yo, this Google Scholar. I'm like, oh, shit, okay. Yeah. So let me play it.
Somebody said, I thought your battle rap style of debate was way too harsh for your comp. Yeah, it was. That's why the whole village burned down. Because that other style don't even exist. Whichever other style you think of debate that you think black people on YouTube want to hear, point me to it. You feel me? Don't get it twisted. I love watching Eric Tyson them, Eric whatever. I like the formal format. But don't think you about to talk slick and gritty and not get it in the way that black people feel it the most. See, that's the problem. My talk goes straight to their ear. You talking in some way trying to stay in the fake character scholarly format. And ultimately you lost because you wasn't having the truth. Now you trying to come back saying Asar from Syria. We'll see how that works. But I ain't going to address no more claims of people who year after year come with pseudo stuff. But the funniest joke in this whole video is that I'm not sure if the brother is aware of how this whole argument transpired in the long run. Okay? And why they're arguing this ultimately.
We're not discussing opinions, by the way. No, man. We're discussing facts. Okay? Proven, documented facts. So if you say something like, if I say in New Jersey law, if you have a Coke bottle in your hoodie, but you present it as a gun, like the silhouette of it, to a group of people, one person, and you go to tell them, give me your stuff or you're going to get it.
See, y'all fake too. Cause y'all fake too. Cause y'all think disrespect without cuss words is better. See? That's fake.
I'm going to shoot you. If that person sees that Coke bottle inside your hoodie as an actual weapon and their life is on the line, and they give you their possessions, Negro, that could be considered as, actually, that is considered, not could be, that is considered armed robbery. Armed, like something that could kill you, knife, bat. Armed robbery. Coke bottle in your hoodie. Okay? He said, no, it didn't. No, ma'am. He said, no, it didn't. I go source up, like I always do, or at least I try, the actual state law of New Jersey. I sent it to him, screenshot it, sent it to the young fella. No, yo, and I even said, bro, you can say, you know, I said, bro, you can say you was wrong, and I was right on that, because it became an all-out argument where he wouldn't even call me for like 3-4 months over that one thing. He wouldn't call me again for 4 months. So I'm like, bro, you could just say, you can call me, just say,
won't call you for 4 months. Bro, these boys won't stream again. This whole page is closed down.
Damn.
You ain't gotta run and feel embarrassed. You could just say, yo.
Yeah, so I don't think Jonathan was coming at me. I think he was just possibly frustrated that I didn't know what they were talking about. And I think he's seen that because I let me respond to this parent. God damn, where's my phone? She gonna come an hour early. Can't happen. Can't. Oh, okay, let me. Can't. Where's my phone? Sorry about a kid. I can't go in that room. I got to charge him. He's gonna wake up. Let me respond. The computer. I hate doing the computer text thing. The computers. So this ain't. There's an app you can. So of course, if you have a iPhone, your Mac, you have an iPhone and Mac and iPads. All the texts are recorded on all devices if you got them synced. Well, there's an app that you can put on your Mac for Androids. So when people message me on my Android, it'll come across my computer screen, my Mac also, because that's an app. The problem is if I respond for the computer screen, it doesn't necessarily show on my phone. Now they'll see it and they'll have a record of it, but I won't have a record of it other than my computer. It don't go to the phone like the Mac devices does. And that's what's annoying. So that's why I hate to reply here, because I usually check my phone to communicate with them. But so no, we ain't coming an hour early. Let me see. Okay. So I was forced to respond to them on the computer because the baby needed to be asleep. He needs to be asleep. And the phone is over by him charging. My dumb self didn't. I keep doing that. I seen the charger. I said, okay, put the charger where I'm at. But wait for them people. They can't see me, and I didn't do it.
You got that. I said it's gonna feel better for your conscience. Then you got a clean slate. You can then call me, but you're not calling me because you want me to forget about it. Mm-hmm. You want it to be 4 months later.
Yeah, want the community to forget. See, so you just don't know really that he don't know the argument. And everything that he's giving us evidence that he won is what his people that he's standing behind is doing now.
So that's the issue they be having.
Good character is going to.
So, but Jonathan Rockwell, Smash Rockwell, there's no way I will be able to determine who's right or who's wrong between you and Asar. I'm telling you. There's no way. Because I've been in the middle of X and Unk. And I talked to X, everything sound perfect. X is the man. He's Martin Luther King. I hear Unc talk, everything Unc says sound perfect. X is Doctor. He's Malcolm X. Okay, so the person I'm listening to, because I'm not aware of the subject, they can easily convince me to believe that their position is sound and it's a more reasonable position because I'm unaware of what's going on. But keep in mind, that's not why I'm playing you guys' video. It's not to give an opinion on who's right, who's wrong. I would just, your video caught my attention, like how mine caught your attention. You see polite scammers or whatever. So at this point, okay, so I see his video. So he's playing a video that says addressing claims of Jonathan Owens smash, right? Okay, so now I want to see who is doing this. I can't see the owner of the channel. Okay, yeah, I don't see the owner of the channel. He needs to scroll up. I don't know who channel this is. I don't know if this is Asar or Ujawa. Don't know. I don't see any information. Yeah, I can't tell whose channel this is. So I don't even know who's coming at him. Oh, I guess it's my channel. Here's my logo. Yes, I'm totally confused.
You're going to know for yourself what are your strengths and what are your weaknesses.
Now let's just stop with this nonsense, bruh. This fake good character beat.
Right. So I understand his point. I understand Jonathan, what he's saying about Asar. I'm just saying I cannot co-sign it. Okay. I understand people can be upset with Asar's snarkiness and everything like that, but I cannot co-sign it. I don't know him that well to agree with you. If he said the same thing about you, I wouldn't know Asar that well to agree with him about you. You guys don't come off to me like that. I don't. When people get mad, when people are mad at Ujawa, they say he has subtle attacks. I don't see him like you guys do. You know, I don't see if Ujawa did have subtle attacks, I don't see them as something worthy of note. Some people magnify them and they make a big argument about it. I see it as harmless. I just don't see them as threatening. And if you think Asar is doing something, to me, I just don't see that as threatening. I don't see that as something alarming. But again, I'm not in y'all world, so I wouldn't know all the facts. But that's just what it is. I know Unc more. I know Sister Mayat more. Dr. Mayat, I know her more. You dig? I know Brother Reggie more. Garfield, I know I'm more familiar with those guys. And with Java, of course. Not really that familiar with Smash. I'm a little familiar with Asar, but Smash I'm not that familiar with. I don't really know his personality, so I couldn't tell you anything. But I'm the worst guy to say I agree. So Asar's the bad guy. I'm like the worst guy.
Yes. Someone's qualified to be on YouTube talking about good characters win. Are you serious, bruh? Like, y'all just be y'all, So what's good character? Like, let's talk about it, bro. Let's not.
Hey, bro, I've never seen this. You dig? I came across. I said I'm going by the video. I don't even remember how long this was ago. Like I don't remember. This had to be months ago. Okay, I don't know, but it had to be months because I've been debating in Hebrews like since November. So this had to be like at the very earliest October. You know, it had, or even later during the summertime. It had to be because I've been doing Hebrew since November. Unless somehow my Hebrew did, because I know the Hebrew thing picked up real strong in December. And my interest was just there. So I'm gonna say this could be a possible November video where I wasn't fully on Hebrews. I was like getting involved with them, but I gotta say, my best guess is this is October or going down, September, August, gotta be. So I'm even unaware of all this.
Do that. I'll give you some good character. But the question is, let's just not fall for this type of stuff in the community. Like, ain't even nobody qualified to explain to none of us none of this stuff.
The origin of the rabbit hole.
And you're honest with yourself. People with bad character,
right,
behave in the kinds of ways that we.
So the watcher, that's what I was trying to say. Asar's putting it together a little better. Like those people that cannot accept, again, when you have a problem, the way you get over it is to admit you have a problem. You have to admit you have a problem.
Okay, so Kim mean repairing. Ultimately, he's using the wrong part. This is just a bad example of the good things he's trying to say. Because this is about the Kemet Black Wars, y'all. So
yes, it sound like you and Asar probably got a little more history. You know, you got like more emotions, like kind of, I would say like Chief X and Unc. Yeah, I would say like me and that half retarded guy. Yeah, this is, or maybe me and DJ Focus, you dig? Yeah, I see what's going on.
ultimately, who got the problem? Kim mean repairing then. I mean, Kim mean, yeah, okay, yeah. I'm sorry, y'all. There was a problem. Kim mean repairing or something.
Gotcha. That's what I was trying to say. Asar's putting it together a little better. Like those people that cannot accept, again, when you have a problem, the way you get over it is to admit you have a problem. You have to admit you have a problem. If you were wrong, like I always do, I always come back to the thing I say with descent, I was wrong. See how easy that is for me to do? Because I feel better.
So when is that gonna admit they was wrong, bro?
Brother, I wish I could help identify.
Do you see the title of the video?
I wish I could help you understand that they're wrong, but I have no idea. I don't speak Mennonite. I don't read it. I don't know the Egyptian history, Mesopotamian, Nubian. So there's no way I'll be able to help you with that.
Oh, you using that source material, bro?
No, I didn't use that source material. I used a quote that he said that Asar felt like people are purposely not understanding his overwhelming, compelling information and arguments. I share that same expression, that same feeling when I debate or talk to people on the panel, or on the panel, or the people that come on and try to debate me. That's all. Wasn't sharing his sources, wasn't sharing his information, not saying his stuff is bad, don't know. But I'm just sharing an opinion of his. That's it. And the opinion is spot on with mine.
There's Kim Black Wars. What side do you think they took in the Kim Black Wars? Do you think a community of their peers deemed them as correct or incorrect? So this is just another error on top of error. But even the dude in the video think he is on some high moral ground. Like, these are the type of dudes, you see? Just that fake good character BS.
When I really believe I'm wrong, I gotta say it to the person who I wronged. I can't just say it to you guys and he never hears it or she never hears it. I gotta say it to the person that I wronged. That's good character. So these people that can't acknowledge when they're wrong or can't admit a problem, how is that good character? That's character flaw.
See, let me give y'all some game, and this is how you could get got. A character is complete. A character is complete. You judge a man off one good action and think he got good character? You ready to get Shanghai to okie doke? You mean somebody could donate? So if a person wanted to set you up, then they could give a bum. Oh no, excuse my language. They could see somebody who give somebody.
Yeah, I'm not gonna fall for that because listen, that's like me trying to convince y'all that DJ Focus ain't got good character, or trying to convince y'all that another person I debates with that don't have good character. Like, how would y'all ever know unless y'all deal with that person a certain way, right? You would never know. And you just can't take my one man opinion. Okay? And especially if you only listen to DJ Focus when he comes here. By the way, he's live later, 8 o'clock. Everybody, let me go to his link. Y'all know he got some good topics today. I gave him a few, topics. He didn't take them hook, line, and sinker. I didn't teach him anything. So that means that I brought some topics to him. He made adjustments to them because I just gave him rough drafts. Yo, what about this? What about that? And he made adjustments to how it fits his audience. Remember, his audience is not the conscious community. These are regular Black folks who party, smoke weed, drink, gangbang, and some probably watch Sinetta. You dig? So, but they definitely not watching the SAR Smash. These are Black people who don't have a care in the world. So that's why it's gonna make it even more fun because he's bringing conscious questions to them, conscious community questions to them. Things you were talking about, he's bringing it to them. So he's forcing consciousness out of them. I think it's clever. Because he is like a star rapper, where he live at. So he's bringing those people on the platform. He's forcing them to finally think for the first time. He's gonna. I did say to make sure your call-in number is ready to go. So I said, I would try to see if people from over where I'm at is up at 8 o'clock and they can contribute. They could call in. They could watch. They could comment in the chat. Like do what you would normally do anywhere else. I'm telling you, you're gonna like it. Like he's going to stir up some drama. Like there's some questions in there. And it's gonna be some men versus women type stuff. Because that's the elephant in the room. Like in the Black community, there's a man versus woman war that we try to act like doesn't exist until there's a man versus woman controversial event, and then all of a sudden all the feelings and war vets start to come out and be active again in the war. So let me just put his link in the chat so y'all can come through, and I guarantee you you're gonna like the topics because I know you will, because I help influence some of the topics and I know what you guys have some interest in. That's the link right there. Click that link, subscribe. Again, you can comment in the chat section. He's gonna ask questions. He's gonna be a little pseudo, you already know. He's gonna be a little extreme, you already know. He's gonna be a little conspiracy, conspiratorial, you already know. Okay. Some would say misogynistic, you already know. And that's what's gonna make it more funnier, because he's gonna have women who, again, they're not women who are normally online. So they don't know the online politics, how to say this. They're gonna be just raw. Dude. You might even see a cat fight. Yo, Rasta man. He said, I live with a crazy guy last night. Rasta man, I fell asleep. That dude. The crazy guy. Yo, Rossman, yo, these guys, yo, but isn't that Rossman? You know what's worse? That people join them in their camps, in their movements, and give them purpose and ranks. Like that's what's most sad, bro. How are they so how can you be against the American army? If you guys believe the American army fights in unjust wars and you're mad that black people are participating, how can you not be as equally mad at these organizations, all the black organizations who are using these black men who are unfit to join these camps and hold those responsibilities and those positions? How are they any different? They are literally putting people out there possibly who have mental illnesses. Now, at least the American Army don't do that. Now, you might be a mental ill person as a result of the Army, but you're not going to go in the Army as one. I guarantee that. These people are going into these camp armies, these churches, these RBG movements, these Morris movement. They're going in there with psychological problems. And they're being received because everybody just want numbers. So the American Army, the thing you hate, the American military, the military you hate the most, they have a higher standard than you when they recruit. Go figure. Bro, that's why I got to my get to real quick with that guy. I realized even the guy earlier, but he was worse. The guy earlier was doing the same thing. I said, all right, let me get to my get to real fast because I can tell I won't be able to talk much. Yeah, they won't stop talking and they will tell you, just like DJ Focus, and they will tell you that they don't talk enough. Yo, both guys yesterday said, I would not, they told me later that I would not let them talk. I kept cutting in. I'm like, are you serious? Like, dude, you thought all the talking you did wasn't enough? And every time I bust him up on something, he'll say he wasn't finished about the previous verses he read. He said, well, I wasn't done earlier. It's like, dude, what else can you get from 2 verses? If John 1:1 says the word was God, the word was God, in the beginning all things were read, I mean, how much information can you extract from that, dude? When are you not done? Like, how much more you got to go from those 2 verses? This is the book of generations of Jesus Christ, the son of Abraham, the son of David. Abraham begot Isaac. Isaac begot Jacob. Jacob begot Judas and his brethren. How much, that's only 2 verses. How much more conversation, how much more information can you take from those 2 verses? And you're telling me we got to go back, you weren't done? Like, dude, stop it. Stop it. All right. So I'm going to play a little bit of this right here.
And hopefully, through all of this, we both will learn and come to a higher understanding of the Most High. Okay? You can give your statement.
Okay. Well, just very briefly, I'm not sure what you're referring to. I don't remember blogging anything. We did a program yesterday on the overall topic. I was very disappointed with the responses. I saw some just horrific things online. I was disappointed with how some people responded from my side, but to be perfectly honest with you, I watched an entire video from some Hebrew Israelites where I was identified as Satan, the devil, filled with profanity.
You see that? You heard he said, yo, y'all black folks who said white people who done that. Okay, so black people who claim they hate racism, they hate racists, and they are to shame the racists and bring them out and have them lynched and burned and jailed and sued, and we need reparations as a result for all the oppression and name calling, NIGER and boy and this and that. We do, look what we did. We felt like we're empowered. I told you, her people should never be empowered or have power because they most likely gonna hurt people. So black people in 2023, they feel like they have some power or empowerment. So now the first chance we get, this brother right here,
This white guy, he does not have a Klansman hat on, suit. He does not have Nazi tattoos. He does not have the skinhead flag behind him. This, for all means, is an ordinary white man. Okay? Why is he debating a black man who's supposed to be religious and their group is the best example of Christ? These are all holy people. Why are these holy people saying the most racist and disgusting things to this man over a debate that your leader's not even upset at the debate? His followers are saying the most disgusting and racist things possible to this white man who does not, in this debate, represent white supremacy. He's arguing his position of the Bible, and he's called the most disgusting things, second to the disgusting things black folks were called during all of segregation and even till today. Hurt people hurt people. That's why I say, man, never call somebody the devil, because when you get some power, you become a devil too. So when you become a devil too, it looks like then it's all fair game then. That means white folks aren't really wrong for everything they've done because you're doing it. So that means that whoever has the power has the right to do it. It's a dog eat dog world. So, I mean, that's you guys saying that. Because if you're against discrimination, if you're against oppression, if you're against racism, then you don't participate in it yourself. You don't believe you're in power or have power and then repeat what you claim you hate. And for me, that just goes to show that it's true when it is said, not they say, it's conspiracy. It is true when it is said that hurt people hurt people. And in my opinion, hurt people should never have power or empowerment because they're going to use it to hurt people.
I mean, just absolutely reprehensible. The racism, God hates all white people, et cetera, it's bad stuff. But of course, that was just sort of on the side. They were attacking you primarily, which was really, really sad. I recognize that there are tremendous divisions on that side of the aisle on this, and I'm sorry for any mistreatment that you've received. But I hope that those things can be laid to the side because the issues that we will address today hopefully will be very useful to a wide range of people. I've had a lot of people contact us and say this kind of dialogue needs to continue, it needs to be done. There are other topics that need to be addressed, and there are. Evidently this type of thing just hasn't really been happening. And this is an opportunity for people to get to hear both sides and get to hear people get to hear both sides with the same time frames. One side not talking over the other, things like that. I think that'll be very useful. So with that, I'm ready to get started.
Ready to delve in, but I wanted to make another statement before we go forward. Right? I also received a plethora of email, okay, from, I would say, right-wing, white Christians who was wondering why you didn't touch on at all the 800-pound gorilla in the room, that black people are saying they're Israelites and Jewish people are not. But of course, I wanted to make that a part of this discussion, and you said you wasn't prepared or ready for this, but that's fine. But I wanted to put it out there that I did work, you know, a tremendous point in time with you, going back and forth, trying to see if we can talk about that. But I'm going to let them know that I did have that on the table, okay? And, okay, we're not going to talk about that, but let's deal with the points at hand. The truth will stand.
So are you beginning now?
I'm going to begin.
All right, 8 minutes. Okay, go ahead.
8 minutes. Okay. Now, some people ask, why am I asserting that the King James, or Israelites are asserting that the King James Version Bible is the authority, right, over other translations or the other books about the Most High? Well, the way I can answer that is through Scripture. Let me go to Psalms 147. Okay. Psalms 147 mentions this. (19 and 20). He showeth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. He have not dealt so with any nation, and as for his judgments, they have not known him. Which means the Most High only gave his commandments, his laws, statutes, and commandments, to the children of Israel. That's who we are. Now, the Bible itself gives you a doctrine on how to deal with it. The book itself. Isaiah 34 and 16.
Right. Faithful, I want to stop there for a sec. Again, what's one of the things we keep talking about in these discussions is that one of the tactics that Rakal has is bringing up a lot of assertions, which James White points out later on in his rebuttal, that are not substantiated. He's supposed to be proving.
And that be my argument against DJ Focus and Disingenuous Black Men Apostles. They sit there and they make all these claims about Margaret Sanger, this person, Darwin, and it don't even be official. It be their personal opinion. Like, dude, beside you, who else? You know, it's almost like Jesus telling Peter, besides you, Peter, who else knows who I am? You dig? Like, come on. Same thing here, same tactic. That it seems like all the pseudos do this stuff, man. It's weird.
Whether or not King James, in this section here, because there's three parts to this debate, in case people are just now popping in and seeing this debate for the first time. There's actually three sections. One is about the skin color of King James, whether or not he was an actual Israelite or a black man. The second one was about the Sabbath, and the third one was about the Gentiles, the identity of the Gentiles. So right now we're in the first section, which is regarding the skin color and identity of King James, whether or not he was an actual Israelite. That is what he's supposed to be talking about. But what you see Rakal doing right off the bat is making another assertion that has to be tackled. Is him claiming to be an Israelite. He keeps using the pronoun we. It's our book, our this, our that. Well, he hasn't proven that point yet in any discussion. He's just going into this discussion with the assertion that he is an Israelite, which he has not been able to prove at all yet. He's failed to provide that claim, substance for that claim, I should say. So, but again, we could just move on. Just wanted to point that out. You guys want to say anything else before I continue? And note, I can't see the screen.
Nah, go right ahead, man.
Okay, here we go.
It reads, seek ye out of the book of the Lord, not books, and read. No one of these shall fail, and none shall want her mate, which means you cannot make the book with any other book. But there's some issues here. We have Gentiles who have come lately under the Roman Catholic Church and Jesuits who are looking to give credibility to outside sources against our brother, King James. Now, I'm sitting here with the King James Version Bible. Okay? Now, before I go into King James, let me mention King James was, in fact, as you can see here, a black man, a king from the Dark Ages, who sat on 3 thrones at once. The underlying issue with these records being debated.
Can you pause that real quick? When he says the Dark Ages, I want to let everybody know what he's talking about. He claims that the Dark Ages is actually a slang term that was used by white people to indicate the time that the Israelites were ruling. Usually, depending on what camp you talk to, they'll tell you that it started sometime during the time of September Severus or somewhere around there, all the way to sometimes, some of the camps will say the 12th century AD. So they'll say from the 1st century AD to the 12th century AD, because they have a doctrine of 1,000 years where they claim that the Israelites ruled. And so they'll use that argument, and or some of them, in the case of these guys, I think they believe that up until the Enlightenment period, the Israelites were still ruling. Hence, why they believe King James is a black man, and you know what arguments they use. They make appeals to the woodcut drawings. For anybody who doesn't know, woodcutting is a drawing technique that darkens and it's a cheap kind of drawing technique used for books and posters. If you guys would just give me one moment, just one moment.
Yeah, that'd be great. I really want to see. I think the audience needs to see.
Right. Although I did mention hatching in the other hangout that I did, but it was actually wood cutting. Although it is a form of hatching, in a sense. So woodcut. This is what woodcut. In fact, the brother James White and Vocab actually mentioned that in the other hangout that. The Vocab Malone interview, they actually mentioned it. So this would be wood cutting right here. You guys can see my screen. So it says woodcut is a relief printing technique in printmaking. An artist carves an image into the surface of a block of wood, typically with gouges, leaving the printing parts level with the surface while removing the non-printing parts. Areas that the artist cut away carry non-ink, while characters or images at surface level carry the ink to produce the print. The block is cut along the grain of the wood, unlike wood engraving where the block is cut in the end grain. The surface is covered with ink by rolling over the surface with an ink-covered roller or brayer, leaving ink upon the flat surface but not in the non-printing areas. Now, this would be an example right here of what that art technique would be. Do you see how this image is a little darkened? So this would be an example of that. And let me see if I can go down here and find another. Oh, here we go. So this would be another example.
Sounds like daggers to me.
They'll look at this and they'll say, "See, those are Israelites right there, right in front." That's the art technique. Right.
Right, because of the shading and stuff, right?
Because of the shading, exactly. You get the picture. So there were woodcut images. I'm trying to remember if it was
wait, and how
Van de Paz is.
So Google, that person will be called Niger Black, right? See, black man.
Simon Van de Paz's famous image of King James, woodcut image of King James, if I'm not mistaken. I think I might be butchering that individual's name, but I mean you can do it also with color. I mean it really depends. But for example, so this is what they make appeals to. I'm just going to do this now, just in case people are wondering where they come to their conclusions. They do it two ways. Number one, they do it with those wood-cut images. And two, because of the fact that they believe King James's name is Stuart. So, for example, Stuart, they say means black. In I think Elizabethan English or something to that effect. I forget how they came to that conclusion, but they would say that Stuart, the name Stuart means black, right? But this is like having a.
Hey Google, I just said that. I said that they think that because a name means black, that a person is black. But if the name means white or red or yellow or green, that person's not that. Only if the name means black, the person is black.
Named Chris Black, who's a white man. Because his name is Chris Black, are we to automatically assume that he's black? Or what about, for example,
Michael J. White, the actor that?
Yeah. What about Reggie White? So Reggie White was a black football player. Are we to assume that Reggie White was a white man?
It only works for them. You got to understand their logic. It only works for them. You're not held to the standard they hold to you. They are not held to. They can freestyle and go wherever they want. They are the Holy Spirit.
Because his last name was White?
I have to say this.
But that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. Okay, continue.
Wait, hold on 1 second. Even
All right, so it seems like I'm not the only person call people dumb when they're actually dumb. And these brothers so far seem like they're very well educated. All right, so far the woodcutting thing and the arguments, that sounds like they're not some normal, sounds like they really do some reading and some research so far. Okay, but they're not afraid to call people dumb. They're not afraid to call black people dumb when they're actually dumb. It's one thing to call somebody, it's like if a SAR and Smash debate and they call each other dumb, like they're lying. Like they don't believe each other are dumb. They might be disingenuous, facetious, something else, but they don't really believe each other are dumb. Okay, so to say one or the other is dumb, they're lying. But these guys who we're talking about, they really are dumb and they need to be called dumb. Probably not in their face, but definitely behind their back.
Dr. Michael Brown, who's Jewish, obviously light-skinned.
But Dr. Michael Brown, right.
But check this out. Dr. James White did say he's going to contact Dr. Michael Brown for more help on these sources. So y'all start paying attention.
Right.
That's right.
So, for example, if I can show you guys something, let's see, Martin Luther. Would you guys say Martin Luther was a white man?
Martin Luther King? No.
No. No. Martin Luther, the Lutheran.
I probably would assume he's white. He was white.
Okay, I think they actually showed a woodcut. So I actually typed it in, Martin Luther woodcut, and
could have been light-skinned brother.
Well, look at this one right here. Look. See, he looked like one of them light-skinned brothers right there. He one of them high yellow.
Yeah. He like Chris Brown and stuff. You know.
Chris Brown, right?
He like I'll be sure.
Like the Barges, you know. Remember the tribe of the Barge? Wait, that's where the Puerto Ricans come from. The Puerto Ricans is from the tribe of the Barge. Yeah.
Hey,
yo. Look, I took that joke from Becco, by the way.
Hey, yo, real quick. I ain't gonna lie though. If anybody pulls up a whole bunch of images of Jacob Arminius, you would think that like he looks like a light-skinned basketball player. I'm telling you, like if you put his name in the image search and you start looking at all of his images, after a while you're like, wait a minute, hold on, like is he
the ancestor of Steve Curry?
Like I don't know, like you just have to see.
He's the ancestor of Stephen
Curry.
But
you know his name is Jacob, so you know he an Israelite. And matter of fact, you just gave it away. See, you. Hang out.
On just a second.
To kind of backtrack.
And scripture and all these things have been redefined by this. You don't have to libraries. I'm not false. There's always been historians in this century, leaders or YouTube videos, but it's like you guys have to look into like serious academic research about these things. And like I said, I'm not saying that refuting your guys' claims about the Dark Ages automatically means that the Black Hebrew Israelite is debunked. Like I said, I think there's many other reasons to show why your doctrines are false, and I think it's in your best favor just to admit that you know what. Okay, this is obviously not the historical understanding of the Dark Ages, and it kind of seems kind of stereotypical to kind of say that and a bit insulting. I myself, if I was a Black Hebrew Israelite, I wouldn't accept that to be true. I would actually find it offensive. So, but yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead, brothers.
Want to move on, Faithful?
Such as saying, you know, why don't we confront the camp? You know what it's like when you got like 20 dudes trying to hit you at once with scriptures, and there's only one of you, and you know what I'm saying, 20 discussions with a few of them, and they always do the same.
Only using King James because King James stood for me. When I read in the preface, and I have a King James 1611, it reads, "Great and manifold were the blessings, most dread sovereign, which Almighty God, the Father of all mercies, bestowed upon us, the people of England." England is angel's land. English was angel's tongue, a language we created to get away from the satanic Latin. When first he sent your majesty royal person to rule and reign over us. For whereas it was an expectation of men who wished not well unto our Zion. So King James was a Israelite. He was not a homosexual. He was not what the Jesuits and Catholics wrote against him 25 years after his death. Okay?
All right, can I stop there? Again, folks, where in anything that was just stated that proved that King James was an Israelite? Again, James White and Vocab Malone in the face of the world.
Right.
But here we have King James making one mention of.
So, you know, anyways, but let's go ahead and keep watching this and see what else is said.
All right, folks, just in case you're just now popping in, we're
something out that's going to completely just shock a lot of people. This is King James' own words. He actually wrote this. Mind you, I'm going to explain to you why he said it in a moment, but I just remembered this right now. And let's see if what King James believes is what, if you guys would just give me one moment. Because I believe that King James in one of his
black men. I'm going to Acts 13:1 real quick.
all right. I want to pause.
All right, so Acts 13:1. This is indigenous favorite scripture. Let me timestamp this. 55:33. Let's say they come to the same conclusion that me and Google Scholar came to.
Real quick.
He's about to make an appeal. I think he's about to make an appeal to what was it? The one I forget what this guy's name was.
The guy from Niger. The guy from
Yeah,
Serene.
Simeon called Niger, right?
Yeah, we're gonna talk.
I knew it. Yep, I knew it. That's what they always go to.
Yeah. See. But again, this is another example. Faithfully, don't make fun of me. This is another example of what we call a red herring. The argument is supposed to be proof that King James himself was a black man and an Israelite. How you jump from that to the Israelites being black, and then let's go to look at Acts 13, which we're actually going to show doesn't help his claim either.
Well, here's the thing. I'll just say this. This is common sense. Why is Simeon being called Niger if, according to their doctrine, everybody was Niger? Why would he specifically be called something that they all were? You know, because they'll use the word that you know, it's funny, they'll actually tell you that that's the N word. So if they were all being called by or being referred, which is not necessarily the case, you know, because I think I actually seen a GMS member try to make that argument. But
right, then like that would be insinuating that he's the only black guy around, right? If all the Israelites were black, why would this one Israelite be called black, and the rest of them just be like, what are they? It's stupid, man. It's a stupid mindset. It's stupid. That's why stupid people repeat it. Smart people recite smart information. Stupid people recite stupid information. It's real simple. It's black and white, man. It's really simple. Let's stop making it difficult. Smart people recite smart information. Stupid people recite stupid information. That's just the way it works.
And let's just go with that. If they're all being referred to as Niger, right? If they're all Niger, I should say. If they're all actually Niger, actually, let me bring it back. If they're all Niger, how could one of them, why is only one of them being called Niger? How does that make any sense? They're all Niger, quote unquote. Then why is only one of them being addressed as Niger? I mean, does that make? I mean, doesn't it make all the sense in the world to kind of, just using common sense to come to the conclusion that, oh, he must have been the one that was Niger. And everybody else was probably different than himself.
All right, let's move on because we
Right. I mean, is this not common sense though? I mean,
Hold on,
honestly.
yeah, it is. Either that or he was just really, really dark.
Okay, somebody actually over here in the side chat is saying Niger means river of rivers, not black. Right. No. But what I'm saying is I'm using their line of argumentation. This is Farsight's. I'm using their line of argumentation. I'm saying that if they use that argument, how does it make any sense if they say all the people at Antioch were black? So then why is one of them, according to their logic, since they believe Niger is in reference to their appearance, why is only one of them being called Niger?
Exactly. I mean, you think about it. If everybody in that area were black, it makes no sense for a native of that area to mention the skin color of the person that's from his people.
Right, and now mind you, and I know that the sister Jordan actually pointed out, Niger is black and Latin. Okay, here's the thing, right? Let's just go with that, right? So Niger is black and Latin, which I do believe it's etymologically, yes, it is black and Latin. All right, let's just say that the guy was called Niger. How in the world are they all Niger if only one of them is being called Niger? How does that, why even make a reference if they're all the same skin color? Didn't you hear what Rakat said?
Yeah, so far, I'm just watching for this first time. I don't know what the white guy's going to say. The scholar, I guess he's a scholar, James White. But I do know that so far the brothers, I think I did better research than them so far on the word Niger. So far, let's see what they have to say. But so far, they should come see me for that.
All of them were black.
Faithful, don't you get it? This is the reason why James White is white. Do you see that? And this guy is Niger, so he's black. Just like my sister's middle name is Green, and then that's why she looked like the Grinch. Like, just put two and two together.
If she's green,
don't
that's
do history. Don't do exegesis. Don't do historical whatever. Just look at names and just tag on any commentary you like. I mean, that's how you do it. Look at King James saying Zion, assume that he's an Israelite. That's how you do it.
Right.
If someone even just, if someone is really good in sports.
Look, let's all do it. Israelites. They cannot be dark-skinned people because it's called Israelite. They all got to be light. Israel got to be light people because it's called Israelite. So there's no way anybody can be dark-skinned from Israel or any type of brown. They all got to be light-skinned because that's why they're called Israelite. This stupid stuff people say. Stupid stuff for stupid people.
They're an Israelite, because Israelites are good in sports. That's how you do it. That's how you know.
What's funny, man? I actually had someone tell me that try to use that Israelites are good in sports until I started pointing out that you have a lot of African athletes also, for example, in the NBA and in football, and then somehow it became they probably Israelites too. Now they so anybody that's good in sports, according to a lot of the logic of some of these camps, are all just Israelites.
That's Tariq Nasheed argument. If you're a black person and you did something bad to black people, you're most likely a tether. If you're a black person who did something good for black people, you're most likely FBA. That's exactly how Tariq Nasheed argues. Exactly.
Just putting that out there.
The Nation of Islam argues the same way, and now we see the Israelites argue the same exact way.
Anything good is Israelite. Anything bad is.
Right. You know that we're trying to start an Israelite sports team.
Right.
That's right. The Sons of Thunder. That's what we're gonna call them.
the sons of the Oklahoma City Thunder. All right, man. Anyways, all right. Let's go ahead and get back to this.
I'm going to show you why I'm standing with the Bible. At King James Version, Acts 13 and 1 reads, Now there were in the church that was at Antioch certain prophets and teachers, as Barnabas and Simeon, that was called Niger. That was called Niger.
Wait, can you go back? Can you go back just a little bit, just a few seconds? I want to catch. What did he say? Did he say Simeon and Barnabas?
Sound like he's reading something. Yeah. Oh no, he's reading the text.
Oh,
but it sounded like he when he had that pause there, he's reading something that somebody posted.
Some teachers, as Barnabas and Simeon, that was called Niger.
Oh wow! Stop it right there. This is the same argument that another person whose name shall not be named, because I'm not putting anybody out there, you know, I'm not trying to put them on blast, but I'll just say they're a little ignorant. They tried to use it, they're a Hebrew Israelite proponent, by the way. They tried to use this argument with me. You know? They actually tried to use the same argument to tell me that both Simeon and Barnabas were being called Niger. But if you look in the text, the words that are being used there, I believe in the Greek, indicate that the words are, first of all, in the singular and not the plural. So it was only in reference to one, which is Simeon. In fact, I'll even do that right now, just very quickly. I'm going to go to Bible Hub.
We believe you. We'll do our research later. We believe you. We know that these guys are stupid. That's why it's important to learn Greek.
And I'm at Maccabees 3 and 48. When Antiochus Epiphanes and others look to destroy our people. And
no. This is a silly argument. I'm gonna completely level this one in a moment. Where it says that it says whereas the Israelites where they consulted, or wait, hold on a second. Let me actually pull that up. Yeah, let him go ahead and finish his statement. This is actually a debunkable argument right here, what he's about to use. Going to I believe this is First Maccabees 340 something. I believe it's 348. All right, go right ahead.
They always look to take down our records and put themselves instead of us. I'm going here.
Okay, where did he get that information from? Again,
he's getting that from the Maccabees, from one of the Maccabee books.
Right, but the problem is that anybody who's watched this discussion about an hour and a half ago, you'll see that he makes no attempt at all to substantiate that.
No, he's actually quoting the verse. He's actually quoting it.
Oh,
okay, yeah, I do believe it's 348. Now look at this right here. Okay, this is what he's trying to appeal to, and he's using the King James rendering of this, by the way. And it says, and laid open the books of the law, wherein the heathen had sought to paint the likeness of their images, right? Here's the funny thing.
Wait,
I'm actually, huh? That's in First Maccabees 3:48. Now look at this. I'm actually going to give First Maccabees 3 in a better translation, just to prove a point right now, to show that this man doesn't know what he's talking about. I'm going to do this in a moment. If you guys just give me a second. I'm going to go down, and I'm actually going to show the context, which is what they don't like to do, right? They don't like to show the context of the things that they're reading. They just like to grab verses and then just, boom, just take it for what it is. Okay, here we go. Now look at this. This is actually a better translation. This is First Maccabees in the RSV. Mind you, I believe this is the Revised Standard Version, which is a Roman Catholic. Yes, this is a Roman Catholic Bible. Now, I want you guys to see something right now, right? I want you to look at what they're doing. First of all, who's being spoken of? Who is 48 in reference to? Well, let's look. Let's go a little bit up. Now, Judas and his brothers saw that misfortune had increased and that the forces were encamped in their territory. They also learned what the king had commanded to do to the people to cause their final destruction. But they said to one another, let us prepare the destruction of our people and fight for our people and the sanctuary. Remember, Judas and his brothers were Israelites. And the congregation assembled to be ready for battle and to pray and ask for mercy and compassion. Jerusalem was uninhabited like a wilderness. Not one of her children went in or out. The sanctuary was trampled down, and the sons of aliens held the citadel. And it was a lodging place for the Gentiles. Joy was taken from Jacob. The flute and the harp ceased to play. So they assembled and went to Mizpah, opposite Jerusalem, because Israel formerly had a place of prayer in Mizpah. They fasted Still talking about the Judas and his brothers. They fasted that day, put on sackcloth, and sprinkled ashes on their heads, and rent their clothes. And they, talking about Judas and his brothers, opened the book of the law to inquire into those matters about which the Gentiles were consulting the images of their idols. They also brought the garments of the priesthood and the first fruits and tithes, and they stirred up the Nazarites, the Nazarites, who had completed their days. Okay, I think that's more than enough proof right there. See, what they'll do is they'll take 48 and say that this is when the Gentiles started to paint their images and change the images of the Israelites. When in reality, that's not what this was talking about. It was talking about them consulting the book of the law, whereas the Gentiles consulted their images, which they painted, which they made. And they don't realize that. I mean, what a silly argument, right? And he tried to make an appeal to that. And I've seen a lot of these different camps trying to make that appeal. But right then and there, we showed how easy that is to refute. And brothers and sisters out there, if you guys just take a moment to research some of these claims, you'll realize how debunkable they are. And they will be very easy to tear apart. Because these are just horrible arguments.
Rent in pieces the books of the law, which they found, they burnt with fire. And wheresoever so found with any of the books of the Testament or any considered to the law, the king's commandment was that they should be put him to death. That they should put him to death. So they was looking to kill us, okay, and destroy our records. Who did this? The Greeks and the Romans. Now, as we deal with King James, he realized that he was in a compromise, or what you would call there was an assault against him from the Roman Catholic Church. Okay, so he put scholars together to hold dear our record so that we again would rise as a people, the children of Israel. It so happened, there's a little feedback there.
Yeah, that means your time's up.
Okay, go on.
Okay. All right.
Hey, did this fool just say, I'm getting feedback? That's what they be doing. They be acting like they got unlimited time, man. He said, that means your time is up. I'm getting feedback. You fool, you just talking. Oh.
I'll start my timer for my...
real quick, before we...
Okay.
Notice he has the alpha and omega signs right there for people who get confused and start thinking that a W is a W, and a P is a P, and a V is a V, and an N is an N. So therefore, I can capitalize the W, it should be a W. I can capitalize the P, it'd be a P. I can capitalize the V, it'll be a V. And I can capitalize the N, it should be an N. Fools, man, fools.
All right, I'll start my timer for my...
real quick, before we go on, I just want to make...
Wait, no, let's go on. We got, for the sake of time, let's go on, because I got some guys in the queue.
You have the 1769 Blaney revision. I'd like to know which one actually is supposed to be the final authority, because there are many revisions. 1611, numbers of years after that, 1769. You have the Oxford, you have the Cambridge.
Now, by the way, I'm not a fan of laymen or laywomen having problem with scholars unless you can show me a scholar having a problem with a scholar. Like that's kind of like the standard over here. And I can't say the conscious community, because Sinetta, what he got going on is a little different. We're like the outlaw of his conscious community. You dig? Like, we're not really invited in, but sometimes we go in. You know, you dig? But the way we carry ourselves, the source up, the where's your source, like that type of requirement, that type of demeanor, that type of swag is not really received well in the conscious community that Sinetta created. So we're like the outlaws of it. Like, sometimes we go in it, sometimes they throw us out of it. You dig? So we need scholars to say scholars are wrong. And so now we can look at, why would a scholar say that? Like, what type of information do they have to suggest such a thing? And then we can consider, but if we are laymen saying that a scholar, and not just a scholar, we're talking about credential and respect it. So if it's a quack scholar, of course, we can just challenge that person and get him out of there. But if this is a well-received scholar with credentials, yeah, and other well-respected scholars are not calling them out, yeah, then that, for me, that's a little shaky. All right, let's go.
Not identical to one another. I'd like to know which one of these is being utilized and which one of these is being put forward as the final analysis of all of these things. The translation work itself was based upon printed editions of the 1525 Blomberg text, the Hebrew text, and the 5 editions of Erasmus, Stephanus, and Beza as far as the Greek went. And so there was not original manuscript work being done in the production of the King James translation, and hence it's based really upon about really less than a dozen manuscripts, whereas today we have access to over 5,700. Now, the text it's based upon represents primarily the Byzantine manuscript tradition. The papyri had not yet been discovered, so it represents in the New Testament a text from around the 12th century or so, whereas we can get back all the way to the 2nd century with the manuscripts that we have today. And so that is why modern translations, if your goal is to actually know what the inspired writers wrote, and they didn't write in King James English, nothing that was said from the Psalter or anything else had anything to do with King James Bible at all.
I put that comment in the comment section for me to watch this and go to a timestamp in this video. I did that for me.
The King James Bible did not exist until 1611, obviously. As to the Apocrypha, the translators of the King James Version did not believe that the Apocrypha was canonical. It was placed between the Testaments, not in the Tanakh. It was not included in the text itself of what we would call the Old Testament. The apocryphal works were never accepted by the Jewish people, which is a fascinating thing. I don't know why those who claim to be Israelites today would accept books that the ancient Israelites never accepted as scripture. There was a clear differentiation between what the Jewish people laid up in the temple, for example, and the apocryphal books. The apocryphal books were never laid up in the temple. Josephus did not see them as canonical. There's a very long tradition, even amongst the Christians, found in Jerome, in Origen, in Leto Sardis, recognizing that the apocryphal books were not canon scripture. And so when you put all this together, and then you join it with assertions such as that King James was a black man, when the reality to anyone who looks at history, we know who his parents and his grandparents were, and they were very, very, very white British people. And every contemporary painting of the king, including the ones that he would have been involved with and would have seen and were displayed in the palace, show him to be very much like me, a pasty white Scotsman. And there isn't any question about this. there isn't.
Right.
I mean, when you hold a belief,
these pseudos make an argument of things that nobody's actually arguing. It's weird, man. And that's what Unc called Stone Ages. We're in the Stone Ages where everybody else is in the space state.
That no scholars in the world would ever hold. When you can't bring together evidence that can be agreed upon, that's a real problem. That's a real problem. And so the question that we have to ask of the Hebrew Israelite movement is, if you're going to assert that the King James Version is the final authority, what is your specific textual foundation for that? I heard nothing defending the supremacy of the Byzantine text type. You would have to specifically defend what's called the Textus Receptus and the specific choices made by the King James translators in regards to textual variants to be able to establish the ultimate authority of the King James translation. You would have to defend the 1525 Bomberg Hebrew text. You would also, if you're going to be honest, have to deal with what the translators themselves said in regards to the utilization of the Greek Septuagint, the choices they made. I've not heard any Hebrew Israelites going into the actual history and showing a specific knowledge of the nature of the...
In other words, he's being honest. He called them stupid in a nice scholarly way.
King James translation, where it came from, what its sources are, and then the revisions that it has gone through. Because I have yet to encounter a Hebrew Israelite that was actually using the 1611 King James. Everyone that I've encountered so far was using the 1769 Blaney revision. Well, what about the differences between the 1611 and the 1769?
They don't even read from a 1611. You know what? I'm gonna start requiring they do that. Since they believe the King James 1611 is the best, the closest translation to the original text, I want to have them. And when they say King James, LJ, am I correct to say when they say King James, they're saying the Texas Receptus is the closest to the original, or just already literally saying the King James English translation is the closest to the original?
Are we going to allege that Blaney was a black man too, and try to somehow connect that in somehow, that he was a Hebrew, to try to change history on that as well? I don't know what the answers to these questions are, but if the movement as a whole is going to establish any kind of meaningful foundation for making this claim, these are just a few of the things that must be brought forward. These are just a few of the things that must be interacted with. And so far, I have not seen any evidence that even the most studied of the Hebrew Israelites have availed themselves of information in regards to modern textual criticism, in regards to the papyri that have been discovered since the 1930s, the light that these things show and shed upon the original writings. And so really the question is, don't we want to know what was written by Isaiah? Isn't that the ultimate authority? Not something that comes 2,300 years later, but what was written by Isaiah,
right,
what was written by John, what was written by Paul. Isn't that our ultimate authority?
Right.
And so if you grab hold of an English translation, a language that did not exist during the time of the apostles of the Lord Jesus Christ, during the time of...
Okay, so maybe I got to look into the Texas Receptus, the different ones. Okay, so which Texas Receptus is the King James based on?
The prophets of the ancient...
Because, you know, once I read this stuff, I'm going, like, my memory, not just memory, that's polite stuff, my understanding, my learning ability. Once I learn this stuff, it's pretty much permanent in my head. So once I learn this stuff, it's pretty much, I'll be able to, like I do the scriptures and everything else, I would be able just to recall it immediately. But once I understand about the different manuscripts, it's over.
People of Israel. Doesn't that translation have to be corrected by the original languages that the prophets and apostles themselves spoke? How do you go about doing that if you don't know anything about textual criticism or do not engage the original languages on that level? These are just some of the questions that must be raised to what is clearly a tradition and that is not binding upon anyone. The only authority a tradition can be given is the authority of the people who hold that tradition. And so the questions I would then have, and hopefully we'll hear an answer now in the rebuttal section. What about the sources? What about the different versions? And what is your real foundation for asserting that this is the final authority in light of the questions that I have raised? Okay, that's my time. And so now we have 5-minute rebuttals.
Okay, so you see how he got to the point? His time ain't really go off, and he's talking over his time like recall. He just, right, he knows what he's gonna say. He knows when to stop. He hit his point, boom. Their problem is that they talk so long, and when their time goes out, they never hit their punchline. That's like, yo, damn, dude.
So, Elder, it's your turn.
Okay, it's my 5-minute rebuttal.
All right, Faith, I wanted to make a quick comment before they go to the next section. A person in the side chat named Shyla Love made a comment, which we hear a lot from a lot of non-believers regarding the Bible being written by man. I don't know why this person brought this argument up. I'm assuming, based off of the things she says prior to that, that she's trying to give some sort of criticism to the things that James White is bringing. I think she's trying to speak against James White. I'm not sure. But let's assume that she is, because
I know you practice your books, but there's a few points out of the Bible that you have to realize when it comes to prophecy and how the book would be given, that will actually give you some understanding. When you go to Isaiah 28 and 11, it tells us, read it. For stammering.
So what he's about to read, and this is what the fool kept saying yesterday. This is the guy who Google Scholar said was a fool yesterday, or the crazy guy yesterday. He really thought precept, like going this verse, going that verse, going here, different books, different Bibles, that overrides context. This is a retarded man position. Going all over the place, that's called context clue. That's third. This guy doesn't know the rules of comprehension, like reading forget about what he's trying to assert. Reading comprehension. You don't go to context clues only if you have to. But again, the guy, like Google said, the guy won't let you talk. So you can't even explain that, not just to him, but to the audience. You got just whenever you can talk, you got to say it. Don't even show an analogy. Just say your stuff, because you won't be able to talk. Dude but this guy's part of a camp. This guy's is in a leading position, and he can't stop talking. Like, God, who can deal with that other than people like himself that just can't stop talking?
In another tongue will he speak to his people. So we were Hebrews, and when we fell, we lost our identity after being scattered. And that the Most High would use a record at the very end to bring us back to him. I'm speaking as a child of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So even though you're going through all these different translations and what was what and what was there and all that, the bottom line is our people, I'm speaking of my people, have done just fine with the King James that took us through slavery. Nat Turner used the Bible, seeing that there was hope and standing against a government oppression. He seen that Egyptian captivity and related that to his people. Okay, Deuteronomy 28 breaks down the people that were going cargo slave ships. They would kill us for reading the Bible. And what stages it went through. What we care is our brother King James preserved it for us. And there's no coincidence at the same time, 1831, that a few years after that, slavery was abolished in England when we were using that Bible. And guess what? That was the King James Version that got us out of that. That was the King James Version to the point where Westcott and Fort, I think that you're one of their proselytes, began to say, well, we found some new records. We found a New Testament that now they get their little grubby Jesuit hands to go against what was written to preserve us. The King James Version got us through our slavery. Okay? It took us.
So what I learned from dating that sodomite guy, Asharula, what I learned is that they're not debating you. They're teaching their class through you. They're using this quote unquote debate as an instrument to teach their class. So he's more interested in preserving the belief that they're the Israelites. He's more interested in that than debating or being right about the subject. And I noticed that about that sodomite Arayula. He was more interested about teaching his people, continuously brainwashing them rather than our discussion. This is why I couldn't talk. Like, damn, what kind of debate where I don't get the same time as he or even close? Like, how is this possible? I'm thinking to myself, how is this a debate? Like, he don't realize I'm not talking? And then I realized, I said, oh, like when he started to make up stuff, when I could finally talk, his answers were like so crazy. Is that okay? He's more interested in keeping people brainwashed. You know, Moneybag Yo got a song called "Protect the Brand." So y'all got to play that song, "Protect the Brand," if y'all into hip hop. It's a dope message in the in the rap. Moneybag Yo, protect the brand. So GOCC, IFCK, Nation of Islam, these guys are Roman Catholic Church, Jehovah's Witness. Like these people are not interested in truth. They're interested in protecting the brand. That's it. So at some point, they would just talk through you and talk to their people. That's it. Like, screw this guy I'm debating. I'm going to just talk to my people through this person.
To our captivity. It took us through the civil rights movement. And guess what? That's the Bible that's freeing us. In Hosea 6, the Bible says, in 2 days I will revive them, and they will live in my sight. That's a prophecy that the Most High will begin to bring us back. And if the King James wasn't there, we would have stayed under the hand of the Romans. But the Most High have set us free with that book. So that's one thing you can't get at a theologian seminary college, is the spirit of understanding prophecy. Okay? That's the key. You can't take the King James away from us, no matter how slick you try. It's the book of our forefathers. You have no business staking claim to our book and claiming what should be authentic, because it wasn't given to you in the first place. I don't need 5 minutes.
Okay.
I can tell.
All right. Let me set my thing here for 5 minutes. I will take mine if you don't mind. All right, 5 minutes. Here we go. It's difficult to respond to the presentation.
Okay, you heard he said, I will take mine. He kind of got my approach. You know, I could tell the way he's feeling. Because he heard this dude talk. He like, yo, he watched his videos before. He knows going into this debate, he feels like me. It's like, dude, I can't lose. I can like talk to you without a computer. I can rely on you going to chapters. I got to recall my brain. I got to rely on you going to the Blue Letter. I can talk to you driving. Like, I can literally put my, I'm going to do it. I'm going to go live on a debate one day, driving, probably north somewhere, handle some business, and I'm going to be live on Zoom debating somebody, and you guys can see me driving. And so you see the phone looking at me, right? And you're going to see that I have no ability to research or look at a verse. And I will know when he's lying. I will know when he's stopping the verse too short. That's what I'm gonna do. I gotta do that to be challenged from these numbnuts. And this guy feels the same way. That's why he snarkily said, I'll take mine. Because I have a lot to say, okay, on the subject, and I'm going to be educating. So I need all my time. What educator says, I'm not gonna use all my time, and want to seriously win a debate? It's because, dude, you're just yapping, you're just rambling. You really have no substance. All right, I just found my phone. Where now? I found the phone and lost the phone. God. All right, hold on. Let me see if the guy's ready. Okay. Let's see if I got. I'm just checking the phone to see if I got any potentials. Because the one guy is, he's procrastinating, and they do this. Uh-oh. Okay, I might got somebody. Come on, really? I might got somebody. Hold on. Let me just adjust this. Can you press play?
Far because from a debate perspective, no meaningful facts have been presented. There have been many traditions, there have been many feelings, there have been many assertions. But in a debate, you are supposed to present facts, tie them together, and demonstrate how they present a coherent whole. What we've heard is, well, my people have used the King James. Well, people have used the Latin Vulgate. That doesn't make the Latin Vulgate the final authority. The real issue, obviously, has to be not what your experience is or what your claims are, or what your particular modern group thinks about what their experience has been or how they read themselves into the Bible. The issue is, what is the final authority in understanding what God has revealed? Now, it seems to me that what you're saying is, well, it's your book anyways, I don't matter, I've got the wrong color skin. I think most people are really find racism reprehensible. I certainly do. And the whole idea of introducing race to this, trying to change King James from who he was clearly in history and who the Stuarts were and all the rest of that stuff, just simply to introduce race. I think most people recognize that's a move of absolute desperation and that there is no historical foundation. It's indefensible. If it was defensible, we'd have something more than just mere assertions and, well, I've got a book over here, I've got a book over there, or there's a woodcut, this type of thing. You'd actually have a coherent understanding of what was actually going on. And when you have to talk about Westcott and Hort and grubby Jesuit hands, this kind of thing, again, smacks me with the idea of desperation, because while the Jesuits certainly have been an enemy of biblical faith, they're an enemy of my faith, which is why I debate Jesuits and actually engage Jesuits in debate. But if you're going to make the assertion that Westcott and Hort were corrupted by Jesuit influences, merely making the assertion is not an argument. What you need to do is you need to provide meaningful evidence of that. And the fact of the matter is, anyone today who actually takes the time.
And that's what I asked for DJ Focus and District Junior's Black Man. But when you hypocrites hop on the platform, y'all don't hold them to the same requirements. You let them say any old thing, go unchallenged. But if on Vice Sports say tomato and not tomato, you guys are calling in trying to correct me. Interesting.
To study the issues. And may I say, you honor the Word of God by taking the time to actually make sure that what you're saying about it is true. You dishonor it when you simply claim it's mine, but I don't need to study it. I don't need to learn these things. You've just got your books, but I'm right anyways. That's dishonoring to the Word of God, and I just need to say that straightforwardly. The information is available to anyone who wants it. It's published widely. We have critical editions of the Greek New Testament. I'm holding one up right now for the camera on my side anyways. This is the National 28th edition of the Greek New Testament. The textual variations are found down here. We're not slavishly following Westcott and Hort. In fact, anyone who knows anything about the current modern translations and the textual basis for them knows that there has been a tremendous modification of the Westcott and Hort thesis as to its application, especially in light of the discovery of the papyri, a more balanced understanding of the role of Sinaiticus and Vaticanus and the major unseals in regards to papyri and all sorts of things like this. This is one of the major areas that I work in. And so the reality is that when you take away all of the rhetoric, when you take away all the accusations of changing King James's race and Jesuits and all the rest of this stuff, the issue again for the serious-minded person is to come back and ask the question, if we're going to have meaningful conversations, if our communities are going to have meaningful conversations, and many people on your site don't even want to do that, to be perfectly honest with you. Not in the GOCC, I'm thankful for that, but many of the other people who call themselves Hebrew Israelites, they don't care They don't care about us.
That is so true, Beckle.
Play whatever. That's just a.
Did you want me to pause it?
No, I just wanted to say what the last point that Dr. James White just said is very true. Many of these people give this false pretense that they're really trying to have a meaningful dialogue, and it's not true. They're just trying to like you said before, engage in verbal carpet bombing, assertion, attack, ad hominem, red herring, eisegesis, assertion. It's like that's not having a meaningful dialogue. You know, I think there's a lot we can learn if we talk to each other than talking at each other.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're seeing on the side chat right now. We got two individuals here who are, again, making assertions that neither one of them are prepared to validate. And then when challenged about it, they try to turn it around and make it seem like the onus is on you.
To find a common ground. And that common ground is going to be found in real history, in documentable argumentation, not in the mere throwing out of assertions that cannot be then grounded in fact. And so until we start doing that, well, let me put it this way. Doing that would truly show respect for the other side. And that's what we're trying to do, is to take this seriously. But we need to have more material presented from your side that is grounded in fact and can be examined in a meaningful fashion. That's what we need. Okay?
Okay.
All right, there's my... So the 3-minute crossfire, so that's going to be 1 minute for each of us. So you get to go first, and then I've got a minute, and we just go back and forth for a total of 6 minutes or 3 times each, okay?
Okay, that's fine. What I like to say is, when you read the Bible, Galatians 1:7, it tells us, which is not of another, but there be some that trouble you, and would pervert the gospel of Christ. Okay, so what's going on is these Romans began to find other, claim they found something in Egypt that would go against the received text as an entry to begin to make new books. When the King James was fine. And some of the translations before that were just fine. We were just trying to get away from the Latin evil of the Roman Catholic Church. Now let me make this clear, okay? And see, that's why I'm sticking in this Bible, because I want brothers and sisters out there to understand I'm actually reading it. Colossians 2:8 reads, beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit. Philosophy and vain deceit after the rudiment of men, after the rudiments of this world, and not after Christ. The bottom line is the doctrine. We should.
Now I told you, he's not talking to this brother James White. He's speaking to his congregation. He's telling his congregation about that scripture. Evil doctrine. Like, so he's actually sneak dissing them through scriptures. Or he thinks he's sneak dissing them through scriptures. That's all. But that's why his minute's up. He never did he ask a question?
Okay.
Notice that he keeps going after the time. Can you just stop that? You notice that he keeps going even after the fact, man. Like, does he know what a debate is like? You know, you have a time discussion in that.
To his congregation,
yeah, he heard.
Keep him brainwashed.
You can do it in 1 minute. I have confidence in you. So here we go. Here's my here's my 1 minute, and mine will actually be in 1 minute. Again, what you just had was, well.
Oh man, this dude James White got no respect for these Israelites. He ain't doing what I'm doing. If they like higher rank, I would lean towards him a little bit, like I did at Sodomite. I let him talk a little more. This guy, like, man, I don't got respect for none of y'all. Dig? 1 minute is 1 minute.
People found some stuff in Egypt to try to overthrow the received text. Be specific. Are you talking about the papyri? Have you examined the papyri?
He's talking about you smashing all y'all that be saying that because you got a song smash that said that Solomon was in the text. So he's saying, did y'all examine the papyrus? This is him, not me. He's saying that to everybody who holds that position. Brother Jabari said the same thing.
Do you know what the papyri say? Do you know how the papyri actually end up verifying the vast majority of the New Testament text that we have and demonstrating that the transmission of that text over time was amazingly accurate? This isn't an issue of overthrowing the quote-unquote received text. The people functioning at the time, the translation, the King James, had a particular Greek text. If they had had access to what we have today, they would have used that information and would have used it gladly. They did not reject this other material. Again, you're making assertions, but you need to validate those assertions with something other than mere force of statement. Facts would be a good thing to add to it. Your turn.
Okay, all I have to say is, help brothers and sisters seeing this. These people, and it's a shame, this is what Christians do, they talk out of the Bible.
I told you. Was I right? This is my first time watching this. I'm watching it with you guys. Whatever I'm playing, I didn't hear before. I told you. He just said brothers and sisters to his congregation. He's not interested in a debate. He's interested in keeping his brainwash on his people. So now he's going to go into a conspiracy theory that these people, white people, they're the devil, and they're trying to steal our identity. That's all. That's what he's doing right now.
The Bible, they talk around the Bible. Okay? Start focusing on what's in it. That's the key. Because I've seen more harm than...
Now he got 1 minute, and James White's like, yo, what's going on here? He has 1 minute. It's good. It's a good thing. If James White got a large audience, I would imagine not. Because if he did, he'd be like, yo, he'd probably been kicked him out. Like, let's say if Tariq Nasheed, his audience be like 10,000 people. Tariq Nasheed be having anywhere from 5,000 to 10,000 live viewers. So if he was debating, like, you need him, he'll need you at all. So when you go off topic, he'll probably just boot you out. So there's some people that have some type of influence where you're a puny guest and you could go to like the $1 million worth of game, like these podcasts, Vlad, what's the guy from UFC that got his own thing, he get in trouble? Damn, Joe Rogan. Like, these guys are everything, and you're just a puny squirrel in their world. So when you go off topic, they'll just kick you out. Even to Sonetta to a degree. So they'll just kick you out. Okay, get out of here. Like, you ain't doing nothing for this channel. Yeah, you're entertainment for tonight, but you don't hold this channel up all day long. So at some point, they'll just boot you out because you're a puny squirrel. So I don't think James White has a large online viewership. And that's because scholars, especially white scholars can't really interact with the majority of white society because they be too scholarly. Like, they can't blend the two. Like they really fail to connect with their society. And that's why science and making it fun science to black people who are pretty much uninterested. It's like, but he can teach it where it's interesting. Okay. So unfortunately, like the white people who do have big podcasts, you got Vlad, whose audience is primarily black. Joe Rogan's audience is primarily white, but Joe Rogan is not a scientist, he's not an expert. So it's like when they do get an expert or somebody with letters behind their name, they're unattractive to their society. Like, you got Jordan Peterson, like these weirdos. But they're scholars, the letter people. They really have a hard time, but they're pseudos, like Joe Rogan, millions of views. That's the difference. So James White, he has to find a way to stop looking so professional. Look at his background, books everywhere. White society don't appreciate that. They want Marilyn Manson in the background somewhere. Like, so he's disconnected with his own society. Wherever he's from, Scottish, America, wherever he's from, he's disconnected. He's not relatable to the average, wherever he lives, Scottish person, American, wherever he's at, he's unrelatable to main society. And this is probably why, if his numbers are low, that's why. And they have a hard time adapting in, because mainly it's probably because they grew up weird. So they were never really in their society. And that's the problem with white experts and the layman white person. It's like a real big disconnect where black experts can still connect because that expert at some point was playing CeeLo, playing cards, playing dominoes, listen to rap, so he still can relate to black society. Like Obama. That's the difference. So this brother right here, James White, if he had a better platform with more people tuning in, he could have held Brother Ricard to the topic and not let him just try to teach and brainwash his congregation on the side.
But with these new translations, that has been a pretext for others to claim, well, there's so many different things, I might as well walk away altogether. Is that what you want? Brothers and sisters, they're doing this as a way to homologize the Most High's word. Because
they are doing this. They who? White people, evil white people, the Jewish people, the Bilderbergers, all white. This is where Brother Ricard's going. Elder Ricard. He's going to the whole conspiracy. All white people are evil. And and I'm losing this debate because I'm stupid. And I finally seen how stupid I am. So I need to save face. So I'm just going to say this is a conspiracy theory of this guy to derail you guys from the truth. Knowing you're Israelites, knowing King James is black, all this stupid shit, it's starting to unravel, and he just scrambling now for a place to hide himself, for shelter.
They're not for the Most High. He will be in the book. We are saved through the Bible, and we were saved through the King James before the NIV or NRSV or any other thing they try to bring forth now. So that's good enough. If salvation is our key objective.
Wait, can you stop for a moment, man? Did you hear what he said, that we were saved before the NIV? So how were people saved before the KJV?
I guess salvation didn't come until after the
until the King James version, basically.
I guess, yeah. So everybody that's
how were all those people in the Dark Ages Israelites, and how were they being saved if, according to him, man? All right, let me present you. All right, yep.
And prophecies is what verifies truth.
Okay, all right. 1 minute for me now. You say that we're just talking around the Bible. The problem is, you can quote a Bible verse, but so far every Bible verse you've quoted had nothing to do with the topic. You just quoted from Colossians 2, 8, and 9, asserting that evidently I was somehow using human philosophy, when all I'm doing is dealing with facts about the history of the book you claim is your own that you don't seem to know about. It's one thing to say, well, I'm just reading from the Bible, but we need to know where the Bible came from. The reason that the Bible is the authority, it's the Word of God, is because it is theopneustos, as Paul said. All Scripture is theopneustos. It is God-breathed. What we need to know is what the apostles and prophets wrote, not what someone writing 1,600 years later thought they should have written. That's the issue. If you really want to honor the Word of God, then you need to deal with its history and deal with where it came from. Okay? Your turn.
Okay, that's all you at, where it came from. Keep in mind that the Bible was fine before you came. So who cares whether or not you figured out how it was compiled or question what was there?
Oh my God.
See, that's the point.
That's the point.
That's why I brought out Colossians and say one would pervert the gospel. Because the ones that I've mentioned, Westcott and Fort, they was operating, trying to bring in a new text, knowing that our people was revolting against our captivity. And the Roman Catholic was using their scriptures, their church, as a form of control over us. The Bible was going to set us free, and the only Bible that was there at that time was the King James Version. And that same Bible had us come to the conclusion that we are, in fact, the children of Israel, which is good enough for us. Okay? And another tongue the Most High would speak to his people. And King James authorized a translation that allowed that to happen.
Okay, well, here's the problem. You just made an assertion that Westcott and Hort did what they did to try to enslave black people. That is so absurd, I don't even know where to start. Again, you make these statements, but then you don't substantiate them. And I say to you, that is an absurdity. You have a 4-minute closing statement. If you do not document from history that Westcott and Hort did this on purpose, then very clearly you lose the debate. It's over at that point, because it's that kind of wild-eyed assertion that demonstrates that you cannot dialogue with people. What do you do when you encounter Muslims on the street? They make arguments against the King James Version of the Bible, and they actually research things, and they have a Quran. Do you two just end up arguing ultimate authorities without actually dealing with the history of the Quran or dealing with the history of the Bible? You would be in a position where you could not defend the scripture at that point.
Right.
Okay, so now you have a 4-minute closing statement.
Okay, I'm glad the one in the debate is dictating who will win the debate. Let me make it clear. I don't care about who wins or loses the debate. Let's make that clear. I'm here to proclaim the truth according to the Most High and defend the book you are attacking the best I can. Okay, so I could care less about who you think should win or lose. Let me make this clear. I have statements from Westcott and Hort who were dealing with heretical doctrine. They were looking to steer people down the wrong path purposely. I know you're trying to separate yourself from these two satanic Jesuits, okay? But you're no different than them, okay? So you can play the other side like Democrat or Republican, but you are doing the same thing by bringing the King James Bible into question, okay? When the King James have saved many souls before the NIV was published, okay? So let's make this clear. If you feel I lost the debate because you went and found some book that you think are authentic, then feel what you want to feel. But I'm coming in these scriptures and telling you that according to the prophecies, the book worked for us. That's why it says Romans 3, what advantage then have a Jew? Much every way, because unto them was given the oracles of the Most High, the oracles of the Bible. So it doesn't matter, okay, if you feel that this is not enough for you. Eventually, you're going to fall under the prophecies also, okay, within the King James. All of the King James is not wrong. So you can mention what you feel it ain't right, and I won't even go into that. And we'll still deal with what doctrine is true according to the Most High. You're trying to be a gatekeeper to be over these black churches because they're losing their youth to the truth. The Most High is releasing them, and your pastors, your black pastors, and your mammies can't hold them. Okay? That's what's going on. So they've run to the gates of the nobles. They've run to Massa. And now Massa is trying to, I will beat them up, come into the house. So if you think I'm race baiting, feel good about that.
He definitely is.
Or feel upset about that. But you're the one that didn't want to discuss who are the real Jews, speaking to a Hebrew Israelite.
You done?
All right, I gotta pause it. See, again, it's a doggone shame
We can't pause
that
it.
so many people.
We gotta keep going. We gotta keep going.
To them, first of all, referred to Westcott and Hort as satanic Jesuits. They were Anglicans, actually, historically. You said you had documents and then forgot to read from them or provide any references to them. In any meaningful debate, you have been disqualified by your presentation and the lack of coherence and the lack of facts. Just on any, and I know you say you don't care about that. Okay, that's fine. We have an audience, and I will leave it to them as to whether they care about it, because that's the important thing. You say the book works for us. That's called pragmatism. And many people attacked Erasmus in his production of his Novum Instrumentum, which became part of the foundation of the King James translation itself, because he corrected the Latin. Maybe you're not aware of the fact that the one who actually originated your New Testament was very focused upon that allegedly satanic Latin. But their argument with him was...
Let me ask LJ real fast. Okay, his channel very big. I'm not familiar with the guy, but let me ask you this. That's probably why he's so hard on Ricard. But let me ask you this. I mean, what is big? See, that's when we go into the, I had a friend tell me, I got a good job. I'm like, dude, what is a good job? You just can't say that. What's a good job? Okay, so let me go into James White. Let me see, because I don't know what, we got different James White. Okay. All right. Which channel is James? Oh, you can't see. Okay. Which channel is James White? Okay, is this him right here? All right, is this him? Is this James White's channel? It looked like it can be. All right. James Bate, debate Abdullah. He be debating Muslims. Okay. LJ, I need to know, is that, let me read the comments. LJ, is that James White? Dang, where are the comments? Okay, there we go. Alpha and Omega. Okay, cool. Let's look at that. This has got to be it. Okay, all right. LJ, this is it? Okay, LJ. All right. Now, I would say this is a nice size channel. I wouldn't call this a big channel. Okay. Listen. Let me do this to you. Let me put Tariq Nasheed in here. Okay. I just said Tariq Nasheed be having 10,000 live viewers. All right. Okay. Certified. His numbers, 2013. That's not the biggest, but he have more live viewers than somebody with more subscribers than himself. So whoever got more subscribers than Tariq Nasheed, believe me, his live viewers are more deep. Okay. So, and then I think he's more popular on like IG and like most people. Like YouTube is people's worst channel. Okay. Decent numbers here. Decent numbers. So we at the 52, the 60,000, and 55,000. We got average like 40,000. If 72, 86. So, and I wouldn't even consider this like too big. These views. I would say this is nice, but that's a big difference between that 9,000 views, 10,000 views. Because I think even Sinetta does better than this. Let me see. Yeah. So to have those letters behind your name. So don't forget, LJ. My point was these guys got actual letters behind their name. Sinetta does not have letters, and neither does Tariq Nasheed, but they can relate with the people, their society better. So now, who are I going? Oh, Sinetta. Watch this. Okay, so Sinetta, 181,000 subscribers. Okay, so I would say James White is doing better than Sinetta. Sinetta is probably just under James White. Okay. I think James White got the, I think Polite, he got some, same thing. He goes to 60, 50,000 when he says the Polite's name. So I go James White. He's around like the 15,000 mark, no matter what he puts. And then no matter how old it is, he stays around 15,000. Yeah, I haven't seen 20,000 yet, but it's decent. I won't consider that big. Yeah, nothing is 20,000 or better. Nothing. But he's consistent. But and this is for only like a little under 100,000. That's pretty good to have this number. And he's doing better than, like I say, he is doing better than this because he's double with pretty much less double numbers. He's double in subscribers, but less in viewership. Okay. All right. So that's all I'm saying. Like the experts got to find a way to connect with society better. And a lot of them have not done that. That's my point. All right. Let me see. Space Curry. What's it called? Space. Can I spell?
Okay, Star Talk. Okay, this is 2.2 million subscribers. This is Tyson. All right. 20,000, 441,000. This is what I mean. This is the experts got to do these numbers. Okay, 116,000, 2.2 million subscribers. Okay, 77,000, 184,000, 120,000, 184,000, 170. You know what I mean? With 346,000. We the experts got a 2 million views. So the experts got to find a way. This is a nuclear physicist. He's like probably the most famous, definitely American nuclear physicist, and he's probably the world's most famous nuclear physicist. He found a way to reach an audience about science. Science is probably the most boring subject for laymen and laywomen. And I'm saying people, all people, not just certain people, all people that have letters behind their name, they got to find a way to be more attractive to main society. Otherwise, you're not really representing your school. The information needs to get out to the public to make us want to know more and become what you are, historian or physicist or whoever else. That's the point. Okay? That's the point I was making. The unlettered people, they have a better way of reaching people. So I'm saying the onus, the burden is on the lettered people. They got to show there's a reason why you should listen to them over the unlettered people. And this is what we promote when you talk to Garfield, Unc, Sean, Timo Sires. This is what we promote. We promote the lettered people. We saying, listen, I'm fun to listen to, entertainment, drama, but you should listen to the experts. So we redirect you to the experts. And we say come here to get sloppy. You dig?
Hey, the Latin Vulgate has worked for us for 1,100 years. Why should you mess with it? So you're using the same argument. That's an argument from pragmatism. And again, it won't work in defending the Bible against Islam, against modern secular critics of the Bible, things like that. What I'm saying is your position is incapable of defending the Bible. And I love the Bible. I defend the Bible all the time. I'm not attacking the Bible in any way, shape, or form. And I think the audience can see that. Interestingly enough, you quoted from Romans chapter 3. And I had that in my notes because, as I pointed out, the Jews rejected the Apocrypha, and yet the oracles of God were given to the Jews. So you hold the scripture that the Jews never believed and claim to be a Jew. But the real question is, I want to know what the oracles of God that the Jews possessed in the days of Jesus, I want to know what that was. And the only way to do that is to study the history. The only way to do that is not to cling to a 17th century English translation and say, this is it, everything else is some Jesuit plot. That is irrational, and it's indefensible. It makes no sense. You and I have been made in the image of God. You may deny that for me, I don't know. But the Bible teaches that doesn't matter what race, it doesn't matter what color. You're made in the image of God, and he's made your mind to function in a particular fashion that utilizes the laws of logic, which is why I can interact with a Muslim who has a completely different authority structure than I do, as long as that Muslim is willing to reason and to utilize the laws of logic. And so the only way we can do that is if you get past utilization of mere assertions, saying, well, it's just my book, it works for us. Those aren't arguments. Those may be observations, they may be beliefs, but they are not arguments. You need to learn what arguments are and need to learn how to make them without then turning around and saying, well, you're just a Jesuit, or you're trying to use philosophy, or anything else like that. You're holding a text, and you're telling the world, this is the ultimate authority. Why? The Bible, that very book tells you to be ready to give a defense for the hope that's within you. That very book says, come, let us reason together. So if we do that, it requires certain things of us. It requires certain things of us. Okay. Well, it's time for the next topic, and I'm the one that's supposed to be going on that, aren't I?
All right, I guess we were going to stop there. This is the second topic, which I believe was the issue of the Sabbath, which actually I'm quite interested in.
So that's part 2. 'Cause I was about to say, I know this can't be it. This is horrible. They got Sakari in here. That's funny. Okay. Where is the debate? Maybe I'll check out some of this stuff. Let me subscribe to this channel. All right, but let me find this second part of the debate. Okay, here we go. I got a class at 5 o'clock. It's online. That's why I ain't leave yet. I think I don't have a 5 o'clock class in person. I'm gonna be in trouble if I don't. The person who called, yeah, I should not have it's my class on Thursday. First of all, Thursday was supposed to be reserved for online only, but I let some in-person people I let some people come in person on Thursdays because I wanted to promote Get Back Visible. That's why I was doing Thursdays, but it's supposed to be reserved for online people. So I got an online class for a fact at 5, but the in-person class they called out for today, and then I had a later in-person person, but they jumped to in-person another day for just this month. All right, let's go. That's why. So I got about a few more minutes. I probably send them a link at probably like 4:50. So maybe 12 more minutes of this and we're out. God, this is 6. Okay, this says 6.
So the fun thing with the serpent
6 hours. Does it say 6 hours? Oh, wait, hold on. Let's see how long this is.
is, how does a serpent talk? What? And not only that, but why is the serpent's punishment?
Oh yeah, we're not doing that. Let's get right to the debate, dude.
Hey.
Dr. James White indicating that circumcision,
He's a doctor.
church history, and that.
Therefore, if thou bring thy gift to the altar, and there remembereth that thy brother hath aught
He
against
sound like Brother Ricard, so I don't even know if this is debate when these guys talking. All right, so let's get to the debate. I'm assuming that the doctor and the pseudo guy from GOCC did not share a screen. So okay, so I'm starting to get it now. So let me fast forward. God damn, they went into a whole hour without playing the video.
And was said, Jeremiah, to get back to Richard Balcom on back. It's the Lord's Day. If you bring about disqualification, Greek folk, we've gotten a lot of bluster.
To speak on the subject, but I think
authority, no, it wouldn't be. That would, with technically in my book, know that there's a.
Yeah, well, I mean, person he makes it clear it's true.
The thing is that he has, because say that I got it from a Greek. Okay, what if you got it from a Greek? Okay, what if you got it from a Greek? They were looking
on rhetoric.
You're trying to figure out who are those people.
Real fast. Have a person.
Bible. The Bible says clearly the Lord's day is the Sabbath.
Okay, all right. Let me see here. 5-minute rebuttal. Okay. All right. Well, we've gotten a lot of bluster. there toward the end, we had Ignatius. There's a picture of Ignatius. Really? They didn't have pictures back then. And he was supposed to be black. Actually, he was from Antioch, and, well, but anyway. But then we're told immediately after that that this doesn't matter, that we shouldn't be going into history, but then we use it. And then my opponent knows some Greek folks who argue that there is, it may not be day, it might be way. This is, again, on any meaningful debate level, that statement would bring about disqualification. I realize, sir, that you probably never studied debate or not familiar with the means of exchange, but that is utilizing a source in an improper fashion. What I would invite you to do is, if you want a discussion of the issue of what Kuriake means and the difference between way or day, whether hemera is used with it or not, then I would highly recommend to you a book called From Sabbath to Lord's Day. Dr. Richard Balcom, a well-known New Testament scholar, has written an extensive portion of this specifically on that particular topic. And so I'm going to ask you when you come back, if you are going to quote anonymous Greek people from the internet, then I'm going to ask you, have you read Richard Balcom on Kuriake Hemera? If you've not, why not? If you have, then rebut him. Maybe the folks on Skype will have enough time to get back to you on that particular question. Then for some reason, the issue of Christmas came up and was said, Jeremiah 10 was quoted. Now, this is an amazing thing. I'm going to have to ask you another question, and I'd like you to answer during your rebuttal period. I really haven't been able to figure this out. I would think that this would be something that the Hebrew Israelites would be all over. And here's what I mean. Have you ever read Roger Beckwith's excellent work on the courses of the priests? Because he's gone into history and he's demonstrated, because we know about John the Baptist's father and we know what family he was of, and we can determine when he would have been serving in the temple, because we still have those records. They were just after AD 70 we can't, but up till then we still knew. And when you put it all together, what's fascinating, because we know the 6-month difference between John the Baptist and Jesus, it places the birth of Jesus in late December, early January. And of course, there's two different dates that have been popular in history, not just December 25th, but even more popular is January chapter. January 6th, which is still the traditional Christmas in Eastern Orthodoxy to this day. And there's 12 days between, which is where the 12 days of Christmas is. Anyways, now, first of all, Christmas is not commanded within Christianity, but it is, I'm sorry, absurd to try to make a connection between the idols mentioned in Jeremiah chapter 10 and the idea that modern Christians are bowing down before something and worshiping it. I do not worship a tree. They were worshiping an idol in Jeremiah chapter 10. It is abusive. I've seen Christians use this, and I've told them the same thing. It is abusive to Jeremiah to misuse him in that way, and it reduces the reality of the idol worship that they were doing. Now, if there's anybody out there that worships Christmas tree, stop it. It's wrong. That's idolatry. But that's obviously not what Christians are doing. And if you're going to make the assertion, it was said, Sunday is linked to Babylon. Prove it. Prove it. Give me some facts. Give me some specific citations from Babylonian sources, and then demonstrate that those Babylonian sources are contemporaneous with the early Christians and that they borrowed from it. If you're going to make the assertion, then bear the burden of proof. Otherwise, you're just simply moving your mouth and expelling air. It doesn't have any meaning. And so I ask you once again, you make the assertion, provide documentation that makes it a meaningful statement. Otherwise, you're just speaking to your own audience and you're not trying to engage in any type of meaningful discussion whatsoever. Okay, so let's hear some of the answers to the questions that I just asked in your 4-minute period.
Now you went over, didn't you?
No, I did not. I was 14 seconds short.
Okay, you ready to put the time in?
I got the timer.
Okay. The source I got, I'm just deal with that real quick and get right back into the book.
Yeah, I wouldn't even call this a beating. I would say that the dude, the Israelite that James White is debating, is stupid. He should not. James White got to teach him how to debate as he's beating him in a debate. That's like me teaching chess. Like, how am I teaching you how to play chess and then take you serious as we play chess? It's like, yo, I'm giving you your education on what's a good move and bad move. How can you beat me? At some point, if we're in a match, I'm gonna stop educating you and just beat you. You dig? So this ain't even close. This is a straight one-sided lesson.
The 19th century theologian John Kitto understood that neither the context of the Greek required adding the word day. Thus, he translated a highly relevant part of it correctly as follows. Okay? Now, in the Didache, Ignatius in the Sabbath, it was translated to the defect of the sentence. Listen to this clearly. The word is to be understood. The defect of the sentence is a one substantive to which it derives. The defect, so far from being remedied, is rendered still more glaring by the introduction. The passage does not refer to at all the Lord's day and cannot be regarded as according to any positive evidence in the early use of the Lord's day. Now, that's the outside source. So you got that. You can go look that up. In the Bible, which is the real source, there's nowhere, anywhere does it say first day of the week is the Lord's day. Now, let me make this clear. Let me read this real quick. Matthew 12:12. All right? I'm going to go through a few of them real quick. Matthew 12:12 reads this. Okay? Now, Yeshua, who's Christ, said, "How much then is a man better than a sheep? Wherefore it is lawful to do well on the Sabbath days." He showed how to execute and being the priest over the Sabbath days and how to operate in grace on them. He never said deal with Sunday. Now, let's get Luke 4:16. This is Christ. "And he came to Nazareth, where he had been taught up, where he was brought up, and as..."
I had to stop that to mention something, man. Does he realize that when Christ died and rose from the grave on the first day, I mean, is he missing that part? This is during Christ's... Yeah, you know, he's ignoring
to read on Sunday, right?
So if you guys ain't noticed by now, but the two Israelites I'm going to debate, one pushed it. One is in Las Vegas. He said 9 p.m. his time. That's 12 a.m. our time. And the other guy said about 9. That's like kind of perfect. So one guy said 9 o'clock my time, and the other guy said about 12 o'clock my time. So that's perfect. So we got 2 already, and at the very least, that's good because DJ Focus show should be ending around that time because he's going live 8 o'clock.
Let's see what the disciples were doing after Christ was resurrected. Acts 2:42 reads, "And they continued," speaking of the disciples, "steadfastly in the apostles' doctrine, fellowship, and in breaking of bread and in prayers." Right? I hope you follow me here. Right? I'm going to read it again. "And they continue steadfastly in the apostles' doctrine and fellowship and in breaking of bread and in prayers." So they continue in the apostles' doctrine. So let's see what that is, the apostles' doctrine. Let's go to Acts 13:14 here. All right? Let me show you the apostles. Doctrine. What were they teaching here? But when they departed from Perga, they came to Antioch. Remember you mentioned Antioch? And Pisidia, and went into the synagogue on the Sabbath day. So even during the time after Christ, they were worshiping on the Sabbath, not Sunday, at Antioch. Now there's more. Acts 13:42. Let me go. Acts 13:42. And when the Jews were gone out of the synagogue, and the Gentiles besought that these words might be preached to them the next Sabbath. So even the Gentiles were learning on a Sabbath. Okay, I don't know when that switched. Maybe after we fell and the Romans got in charge. The sun worshippers, S-U-N. Now, when the congregation was broken up, many of the Jews and religious proselytes followed Paul and Barnabas, who speaking to them, persuaded them to continue in the grace of the Most High God. And the next Sabbath day came almost the whole city together to hear the word of God. The whole city was worshiping on a Sabbath after Christ was resurrected.
Okay. Now I have the first of the 1 minutes in the crossfire starting now. All of those texts are very interesting, but they're irrelevant to the point that I made. No one is arguing that during Jesus' ministry that there was anything regarding the Lord's Day. And clearly in the early chapters of Acts, you're going to have people in Judea. That's going to make perfect sense. And if you're going to want to speak to the Jews and preach in the synagogue, you're not going to go there on Tuesday. You're going to go there on the Sabbath. So here's my question. Question number one that I hope you'll answer. Had you ever read the quote you had from Kittle that you just gave? Had you ever read it before today? Because I had a hard time understanding it because it did not seem that you understood it. And if you have read it, then please tell me, how did he deal with the term sabbatizers in the same sentence?
I'm dealing with the Bible.
That's it?
Yeah.
Okay, then I'll go back to mine. Clear 1 minute. Here's the problem. That's a cop-out. You raised the point. You made it a point of your argument, and you just ran from answering a simple question about a citation that was clearly provided to you by someone else that you'd never seen. You've never read its context. You don't know if it's accurate, and you can't answer the question as to how they interpreted the term sabbatizer in the same section. That is dishonest, sir. I call you on that. I ask you to repent of that. That would again cause you to be disqualified in any moderated debate. You do not abuse scholarly information in that fashion. And so there's my 1 minute, and I would like to hear how you respond to that.
My response is back to the source, and I gave it. The bottom line is you seem more bent out of shape with sources than the Bible itself. Remember the Sabbath and keep it holy. And stop this nonsense with the first day of the week. Now let me make this clear also. Okay? When it says on the Lord's Day in the book of Revelations, the same John the Revelator, that Lord's Day is the Sabbath, because there's no place in the Bible that says it's anything else or any other day. Let me make that clear also. Okay? So understand, you being a Gentile are still trying to follow Gentile ways. But when Christ come back, you're going to get yourself in order. There will be no first day of the week worships according to scriptures. When you read Isaiah, the 60th chapter on through, the 66th chapter, the 23rd verse, in the kingdom, guess what? Even the Gentiles are going to be worshiping on the Sabbath in the kingdom. Read it sometimes. Look at that source.
Okay, last 1 minute here. First of all, you just made the assertion, Kudike Himera means Sabbath. What is your source? Prove it. Why not say Sabbath? Why didn't John say, I was in the Spirit on the Sabbath day? It would have been much easier to say. It would have been much clearer. And by the way, it's the book of Revelation, not Revelations. Again, all we have here now, almost sound like threats there toward the end. And given what I've heard from other folks, I really wonder what you were meaning there. When he comes back, you're going to get this straight, and so on and so forth. Yeah, someday we're all going to know. But right now, the only way for us to honor each other and the listening audience is to provide meaningful, documented, organized, logical argumentation, not mere assertions. That's the only way right now until the end comes for us to really be able to do this in a way that honors God's truth. You've got one last minute.
Isaiah 66:23. And it shall come to pass that from one new moon to another, and from one Sabbath to another, shall all flesh come to worship before me, saith the Lord. Future prophecy, kingdom. Rehearse the righteous acts. Do it now. Okay? And I'm not threatening you. Okay? If you don't serve, if you don't follow the true God, you're not going to make it to the other side anyway. Leave the paganism.
Okay, 4-minute closing. Is it 4 minute? 4-minute closing statement. I go first. Leave the paganism. Well, a debate is meant to be able to allow us to reason as image bearers of God with one another to demonstrate who is the one holding the paganism. And so far, in each segment, we've seen a lot of assertion, a lot of assumption and circular reasoning, but not much more than that, especially when it came to the obvious fact of, well, here's a quote, I'll use it. Then when I ask you, okay, how do you deal with this? How does it deal with sabotagers? Do you know the context? Ever seen this before? I'm only going to deal with the Bible. That is dissembling. That is just dishonest. Let me summarize this particular issue. The early Christians.
If I was Brother Ricard, I would have got racist and hung up. Conspiracy theorists, because he's losing so bad. It's embarrassing. I'm surprised he's just taking it.
We're not borrowing from paganism. No evidence has been given that there is any connection between the Christians adopting the first day of the week in regards to the resurrection of Christ as the Kuriake Hemera and Babylonian mystery worship. Nothing. We've had it asserted multiple times. But to any rational person, not a shred of meaningful historical evidence or argumentation has been given. Same in regards to Christmas. Now, what needs to be understood is that the book of Hebrews addresses the issue of the fulfillment of the Sabbath and the fact that we've entered into our Sabbath rest in Jesus Christ. And so you have to ask yourself a question. Did the writer of the Hebrews understand Isaiah 66 the way that Elder Shayar does? And I would say to you, no, they did not. Now, unfortunately, when you have a religious system that is based upon the exercise of authority, the Bible generally becomes just a book that is used as a weapon. Its actual meaning, its history, its background, its context, it's not relevant whether you're drawing your beliefs from it. You just use it to back up your authority over other people. And that's what I'm hearing here, is we have authority over you. And this is just the way it's going to be. And every authoritative group has functioned the same way, and they all struggle in the same way to answer direct questions about the argumentation they're presenting, especially when their beliefs do not actually derive from Scripture, but are forced upon the Scripture, which is why nobody until recent years had ever dreamed up the ideas that are being presented to us. Not in this particular subject, but I mean the whole concept of Hebrew Israelism and things along those lines, and you have to engage in all the conspiracy theories and whitewashing history and all the rest of that kind of stuff. That's what happens when you have a system that really cannot survive meaningful cross-examination. It cannot provide a meaningful foundation for its assertions. Basically what you end up with is an echo chamber where one guy says, yeah, that's true, and another guy says, yeah, that's true. It just echoes back and forth, and you think that lots of people are saying that, but actually it's just because you're only saying it in your small little echo chamber. And that doesn't make exegesis. That doesn't mean that you're actually dealing honestly with Revelation chapter 1, verse 10. It doesn't mean you're dealing honestly with the development then over time, actually providing foundations for your assertions. It just means that a lot of other people who believe like you are saying the same things. That isn't how you establish truth. And it's indefensible when you try to take that kind of system out into the world against all those other systems out there that have their own books and so on and so forth. So there we go. And so 4-minute closing statement for you as well. Ready?
Yes.
Okay, there you go.
1 John 2 and 4, New Testament, after Christ was already resurrected. In heaven now. John 2 and 4. He that saith I know him, if you say you know Christ, Jesus you call him, and keepeth not his commandments, not just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. He that saith I know him and keepeth not his commandments is a liar, and the truth is not in him. And you know what? The truth.
So it turns out I did.
Ironically enough, the way that he argues.
It turns out I did have a 5 o'clock class. All right. I'm gonna tell him 6.
Then that would work against his position, since he claims you have to keep him
here.
to the best of your ability.